Hello and welcome to episode 32 of In PS We Trust. My name's Davey and joined with me as always is Phil.
Merry Christmas, lads.
And Spencer.
Merry Christmas, boys.
Merry Christmas, lads. This episode, we are recording it on the 17th of December. However, for you guys listening at home, if you're straight on it immediately, it's 2 days until Christmas. So, Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you enjoy our festive themed episode. Phil, you put a lot of effort in there. That's a nice fetching hat you got there.
Thanks, mate. I had to borrow it from the missus. But I've also got a bit of tinsel. Popped out to the shop earlier, got some tinsel and got two little decorations. So you might see a little penguin there with a Santa hat on. And I've also got some robins. And one of them's also got a Santa hat on. So, I'm bringing you 3 Santa hats for all the people over on Spotify that are watching us.
And Spencer, I mean, you're looking absolutely amazing. You got a nice Christmas jumper on and you got a traditional Christmas hat as well.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work with the headset. It keeps my headset off my ears, so I've just chucked it over. It's a bit loose, might fall off at some point.
It looks good. I'm not going to lie. I've kind of just gone straight up, just like, you know when you get invited to an office party and they're like, everyone wear Christmas jumpers and you go in just like the most nonchalant like Christmas jumper ever. I kind of just thought, you know what, fuck it. I can't bother with decorations, can't bother with any of this stuff. But I am wearing a Sonic themed Christmas jumper and he's got a hat on as well. So it's double the hats for me, boys. Double the hats. So even though it's not Christmas for us, lads, not for another week or so anyway, are you sipping on eggnog tonight or are you on something else?
I've been away from the buds for quite a while. I'm on the ciders, but not what I usually do. What I usually do is get the 4 for 6 from Asda, or now it's buy 3, get 1 free or something. Well, no, it's buy 4 cheapest items free. And it works out the same anyway. But this time, I've just bought a crate of Thatcher's Haze.
Fantastic. I mean, last time that we recorded episode 31, actually, we did last, I think. I can't remember if we did that or the spoiler cast last, actually. I can't remember. But the last time we were drinking anyway, I was on the ciders, and it was just a great time. It was just a fantastic time. So I really hope you enjoy them. I had a fantastic day the next day. No hangover. Totally free of any pain. Which normally after the podcast, I've got that sinking feeling of regret from what I've said or what I've listened to from on behalf of you guys. And then I've also got a hangover too. But I only had the one side effect from the last podcast, so it wasn't bad at all. But what about yourself, Phil? What are you drinking today?
Well, Davey, after last night and after our night out in Cardiff, we went to the Enchikari and we had that one beer because, of course, we were driving and we couldn't have any more. I've opted for, again, just a lager. So I've gone for the Peroni tonight on the big bottles. I've gone for the same deal as Spencer. So I've got 4 of these bad boys to try and get through tonight. Not sure if I'll make it, but we'll see. We'll see along the way. How about yourself, mate? What are you on?
I've always had a fascination with a good bottle design, haven't I? For as long as you guys have listened to the podcast, you would know that this is something that I've long sought for that perfect bottle. And the closest I ever got was Grolsch, but it didn't have a swingy lid. Wow. I present to you the perfect bottle ever. I search high and low. Oh, baby! Oh, that was sick. My God. £2.25 a bottle. I got 4 of them to go through tonight, and I am fucking loving my life. A fantastic lager with a fantastic gimmick. What more can you want? What more can you want? Christmas has come early, boys. I'm fucking buzzing. Now, following that revelation, guys, I want to know, what have you been playing?
This time on NPS We Trust, what have the boys been playing?
Alright guys, so it's been 2 weeks since the last episode and I'm desperate to know what you've been playing. Spencer, tradition dictates that we start with yourself.
The first thing I'm going to talk about, and it's also the reason I have this crate of Thatcher's Haze, is Smash. I finally put some more time into Super Smash Bros. I actually just sat down. Davey asked me all the time, he was like, Spence, you want to play some COD? I was like, no mate, not tonight, I can't. I'm sick of losing, because lately I've been losing, I've been doing shit. I'm sick of losing, I want to be the best at Smash again. And it was a tournament. So I sweated, I grinded, went to the tournament, and I fucking won. Yes! Yes!
Let's go.
So on the way home, popped in the Asda, bought a crate just to celebrate when I got home, and then I fell asleep.
How much were your winnings?
I won 140 quid.
Oh, that's not bad.
I know.
And they say video games don't pay. Can you imagine if you were paying something that actually paid good money? Because the Smash community, as we know, you ain't making a fortune playing Smash. But that's pretty damn good, mate. That's not bad at all. That's really good. Congratulations on the win as well. Although,
Thank you, mate.
I was pissed off that you weren't playing COD with me, I'm not going to lie. So I'm glad that you got the win, because if you busted out, I'd have been fuming. Because I'd been like, all this time, he could have been grinding up, getting these multiplayer trophies, playing zombies with me, all this. But because you got the win, it's all forgiven. It's all worth it. All worth it in the end. So, what have you been playing apart from Smash then?
Well, the other thing I've been playing, considering we just mentioned it as well, is quite fitting. Call of Duty. I actually played the campaign and multiplayer. A bit of zombies, because zombies is shit. But I finally got all the trophies for multiplayer. I know you've already done that. And campaign, I finished the campaign the other day. And today, I'm now 1 trophy away from being done with the campaign completely. I have 1 trophy left. And Davey, you know what trophy it is.
Is it the trophy where you've got to take out all these guards with just takedowns?
It is, yes.
Hmm.
I thought I'd save that one for last.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus Christ. Have you attempted it yet?
I've not. I've actually not.
I don't know if I mentioned this. Obviously, we've been basically turned into the Call of Duty podcast ever since COD's gone into alpha. We've been talking about it like every single time we've had this podcast. It's become a staple now. But this trophy was a fucking nightmare. It was an absolute mare for me to get. The way it works, basically, listener, is you find yourself in a section where you're in a department store. There's loads of enemies everywhere, and you can only take them out with takedowns. Now, takedowns in Call of Duty is where when you get close to an enemy and they're unaware, typically when they're unaware anyway, it comes up with an icon, like press R3. You press it, you go into a special animation of you killing them. If you go into alert, or the enemies know where you are, then that often doesn't come up. You end up just doing a melee, and a melee doesn't count towards this trophy, so it has to be takedowns. The problem is, this section goes on for about half an hour, and it doesn't always spawn the takedown option. So you'll often break out of your like hiding hole, go to kill an enemy, and the takedown option isn't there. And then so they end up just them shooting you, and you running back, and then waiting for everything to die down and just do it again. It went on for literally, it took me about 2.5 hours to get it done. And it was a nightmare. And I did it on my first time through that level because I thought, there is no way I'm ever going to go for the platinum if I have to go back for this. Ever. Because it was a fucking nightmare. Now, Spence, you had a bit of trouble with the other trophy that was also a dick in this, didn't you? Do you want to explain that one?
I fucking hate this trophy. This trophy takes place on the mission, the Battle of Midway or Midland or something. Basically, you're flying a plane. The trophy's called Duck and Dive. And during this mission, you have to nosedive and bomb a ship. And that is it. But whilst you're nosediving, this ship is shooting you with anti-air bullets, whatever. So like explosions going on in the sky. And at the same time, shooting you with actual guns. Getting hit by the explosion, fine. Yeah, you can get hit by the explosions. You can't get hit by the bullets. If you get hit by a single bullet, the trophy doesn't ping. Your mission's to get through it without getting hit once by a bullet. This trophy is literally a 5-second segment of the level. 5 seconds. And if you get hit, you can reload the checkpoint immediately and it takes you right back to the start of that 5 seconds. It's perfect for grinding it. But fuck me. Not getting hit by a bullet is solid. I watched 4 different videos of people doing it, thinking what was their technique, how did they do it. PowerPix stated the best way to do it is to hold down and left on the left stick, which is your throttle, and then just spin your right stick to try and evade bullets. Dog shit strategy. Dog shit. Doesn't fucking work. It says move the plane slightly after every like different part of bullets, I suppose. So like they shoot in one pattern once, then a second pattern. It says switch slightly in between. Bullshit. It doesn't work. The way I finally did it was hold my right stick slightly to the right and up a little bit and just hold it there. and you had to like slightly wiggle back and forth so that you didn't get hit by the explosions. Because if you go too far out, that's when you get hit by explosions. That's what triggers it, because it forces you to stay in the range. So you just kind of find that sweet spot, and no bullets go there. So I found that sweet spot, wiggled it a little bit back and forth, and then when it came up saying zoom in, drop the bomb, and pull up, I was like, oh my god, I think I've done it. And there's actually a little cheese thing as well, because Davey, you complained that you don't know if you've done it until after the trophy pings, which is after the next checkpoint. So you have to start the level again. If you pause immediately after your character looks down, the checkpoint's saved, but the trophy still pings. So I paused and I prayed, and it popped. And oh my god, better than Last of Us 1. Better than bloody yeah, as in, not, it wasn't a better feeling, like it's not, I wouldn't rather have this than The Last of Us 1, but the grind for Last of Us was significantly better than the grind for this. This trophy sucked. It drained my life. It's a 5-second scenario and it took like 2 hours to get. It was boring. I was screaming, trying every different strategy. I tweeted about it. I added Call of Duty saying just delete this fucking trophy. And then maybe 20 minutes later, I got it. And oh my god, if you boys could hear me, I popped off.
I think I was in my conservatory at the time and I just saw all these birds just escaping from the woods and like cars just stopping. And I just heard this distant roar over the horizon. I thought, fuck me, what's happening? Godzilla, Godzilla. But it wasn't. It must just be you popping off. So that's what it was. Jesus. But no, well done, because that trophy is an absolute fucker. It is a nightmare. So well done on getting that done. And now all you got to think, right? You got one more pain point, and then you've got it. Because the zombies one, as much as I complained about it on the last episode, it's annoying, but it's easy. If you've put yourself through this amount of suffering already, you're there now. You're in the home stretch.
I mean, yeah. Also, the trophy you complained about, I reckon I'm gonna smash it, mate. I haven't done it yet. I haven't tried it yet. I know I'm probably wrong, but I'm sick. You know.
I can't wait to do a supercut of this and on next episode when we talk about it. So I'll look forward to doing that. So is that everything for yourself then, Spence?
There's one more Call of Duty thing I want to touch on, and you might want to play the Bug Hunter theme.
All right, let's hit it, shall we? When walls are spinning all around you, you can't properly aim your gun. You find you're falling through the world. I'll hunt you down 'cause you're a bug. I find the bugs, the big bad bugs. The Bug Hunter.
Right, so my bug, I had 2 bugs throughout the game. The first one I'll mention is just throughout the entire campaign, there was just stuttering all the time where it looked like my game had crashed. And I suppose it did for a few seconds, then it kicked back in. But it was weird. And also, actually, I got another bug. Fuck me. Alright, I was playing zombies a little bit the other day just to kind of get those misc trophies, because there's trophies for using the different abilities you get. And it turns out, even if you're playing solo zombies, you can still get lag. Because I was shooting zombies, and there was 2 seconds after I shot that it would hit the zombies. Like 2 seconds of lag, and it was weird. I know it was because I was downloading the campaign. That's why I was playing zombies. There shouldn't be lag if you're playing solo zombies. I don't know why it requires. I do know why it requires. I do know. It's because it updates your stats in real time to the online servers. Because if you get the 2 trophies at 10,000 kills on zombies and 2,500 Pack-a-Punch level 3 ones, it keeps record of those stats on your online profile. So it's updated as you play. So if you play the PS4 version and get the platinum, and then play the PS5 version and go for the platinum, those zombie trophies are impossible.
Someone needs to sign this man up. If there's a games company listening to this and they need a games tester, hire the Bug Hunter. He'll rinse your game, and then you'll have none of these problems when you release it to the general public.
It's true. I looked into it because it pissed me off. I was confused. But the big bug, the cockroach that I had to deal with, was that in the first level, I'd finally got the campaign downloaded, immediately quit out of zombies. I was like, I want to play the campaign. Fuck me. First level is Operation Phoenix. You're on a train, and for some reason, there was one part of the level. Every single time I reached it, game just crashed. Completely crashed. I couldn't quit out, I couldn't do anything. I had to go back to the PlayStation menu, close the game, and restart it. It happened. And I was like, that's fine. Call of Duty crashes sometimes. That's fine. Got to the exact same part again, and it crashed again. And I was like, what the fuck? So then the third time, I got there, and it's like, you're about to reach like a short wall, so you can mantle over it. I start mantling over the wall. I'm like, oh, thank God it's fixed. Crashed. Crashed. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was on voice chat with Davey, and you said, let me watch, mate. Let me screen share to me. So I started screen sharing, got to the same part. No crash. Because I'm the bug hunter. Only me. If someone else is watching, no bugs. I was fuming.
You're cursed. There is no other explanation for this. Well, I mean, you could just have a dodgy PS5, right? A dodgy launch console PS5, which is probably the case. But I go on the basis that you've been cursed. You've either done something really bad in a past life, like, I don't know, fiddle kids, or something just really bad, right? And just go straight to the worst thing possible, the kid fiddling, there's nothing worse than that. People think, oh, maybe you come back as, to stick on your same adage, a cockroach or something like that, right? Some like lesser animal, some lesser insect. No, you just get cursed with fucking your PS5. Your PS5 just doesn't work how you want it to. You just get random glitches and bugs that nobody else in the world experiences. I mean, I'm just glad that you only played about 10 minutes worth of Cyberpunk, because otherwise I reckon your entire house would just burn down, because that game's already like buggy as hell anyway. So it might like turn into like the Matrix, where your entire like reality starts shifting and going all over the place. It could just be a complete madness. So speaking of the Matrix, Phil, you played that, didn't you?
Yeah, over the last 2 weeks, I've really only spent time in sort of 3 games, and 2 of them I pretty much speak about on the majority of the episodes that we record. So Death Stranding and League. So we'll move past those quite quickly and get on to The Matrix Awakens. So this is the Unreal 5 experience, the tech demo for the Matrix game. Currently available on PS5, Xbox X and S, and it was actually released during the Game Awards, which was quite good. Towards the end, I think Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss came on stage, didn't they? And they said, you can play the game now. It was one of those kind of reaction pieces where everyone starts downloading the game straight away. I didn't do it on the day. I waited a few days later and only sort of played it through so I could sort of chat about it on the podcast tonight. But I'm a massive Matrix fan, so I was interested to see what it sort of had in it. The demo itself, it sort of splits into 3 parts. The first part being a character showcase, where you see some digital models of Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss, and I actually thought that was real. It was so good, right? I thought it was actually just video. No, it's actually them being programmatically created with the power of the PS5 or the Xbox, and it's absolutely incredible. You should definitely go and watch it and give me your views on that. The second part, we've got the car chase. That's the fully playable action sequence, which introduces you to the character IQ. It's quite interesting. It's quite linear. Basically, you just go along. There's kind of agents chasing you down, and you have to shoot at their tires. And it kind of ends with a big helicopter coming through, and you get a 90 caliber gun out at the end and start shooting. It's quite cool to go through, and quite nice to sort of see all the scenery explode and all the agents flying everywhere. And then the end is the open world section where you control IQ and you get to explore the city.
With it being Unreal, and obviously it's an Unreal tech demo, isn't it, really, that we can play just Matrix themed. All I've heard is everyone gushing about the power of this and how this is going to be used now going forward across this generation. In a couple of years' time, we're going to see some stuff that's going to be fucking mind-blowing. Did it really feel like that next generational leap compared to what we've already seen so far on the PS5?
For me, parts of it did, and parts of it didn't. There was parts, I think, in the car where the uncanny valley definitely came into effect, and you could see it wasn't them. But as I said, the sort of character showcase, that was like real life. It just looked perfect to me. But yeah, sadly, I must stress that this Matrix Awakens is not actually a game, and it apparently will never become a game. Currently, apparently that's the plans for it. There's no plans to actually build this into a full game. It's just a proof of concept, just to, as you said, showcase the power of the engine and sort of promote the movie.
Spence, did you have a look at this? Did you try this out as well?
Yeah, I did. Similar to what Phil said, it is impressive. It's very, very fucking impressive. Looking at, like you said as well, with the opening scene where it shows off the people we know, I thought that was real. At least until it showed like the younger versions, and in which case you're like, oh, obviously that's CGI, but they still looked amazing. I honestly couldn't believe it. But I don't think they put as much care into like the NPCs, because obviously they probably didn't have a person to base it off, just made it from scratch, and they didn't look as impressive as the specific character models did. And especially in the exploration part at the end, they kind of looked, because the environment is so stunning and it looks so realistic, I felt like the character models didn't really fit in as well as they could have. And that was kind of my only issue with it. But when you're in that exploration mode, you can fly around. You can take like a drone perspective and have like a proper fly about, boost up your speed. You can drive cars and shit. It is good. It looks so sick. If you drive through people, they just turn into pixels, like green pixels. It's actually sick. It's really cool to watch. I'm interested to see what people do with this technology in the future, but I wasn't especially blown away by it, considering we've seen games like Last of Us 2 and stuff. We already have very impressive looking games. I didn't think this was something that could never happen, you know?
Yeah, I think there's quite a big difference between the two, because this being kind of open world and, you know, it's sort of filled with sort of AI characters as opposed to, you know, The Last of Us, which is basically just a linear story, isn't it? Spence, I've got a quick question for you. Do you think they're missing a trick by not making this into a game? Because for me, this was so impressive, and I'm begging for a Matrix game after, you know, spending my time in The Matrix.
I get what you mean. I think it'd be awesome if it was a game. But it is a proof of concept. But all they really showed is that it could have been anything. It didn't have to be Matrix. All they showed was an action game. That could have been any game. With Matrix, they'd have to put some crazy looking stuff in there. And at this moment in time, I don't know if they'd be able to with the engine. They need to test around with it a lot more.
Obviously, Unreal 5, I imagine, has been out in people's hands for probably a little while, maybe some like top tier developers. Do you think that we're going to see something on this kind of level in maybe a year, 2 years' time?
Personally, I think a full game, not a tech demo, not a proof of concept, a full game in Unreal Engine 5, at least 3 years away. Because you got to think, even though they've been making games for a long time, it'd be top tier developers doing it. That's a whole new engine to need to learn. Even if they've been working with the past Unreal engines, this got to be a lot of change, a lot of different. They'd have to put in the work, the detail, in order to properly utilize the engine. I think at least 3 years for a full game and a good game in Unreal 5.
Yeah, I suppose that's the difference, isn't it? You can have a game just put out in Unreal 5, but then having the team that actually take that to the next level, you know, like a Crysis with a CryEngine, or, you know, like Horizon or Death Stranding with Decima, you know, you got to have that team that really puts the energy in and knows and understands every single thing about that. Maybe it's Unreal themselves to do it. And, you know, to think maybe we'll bring back, you know, Unreal Tournament or something. How fucking hype would that be? Oh my god, I go mental. But we derailed this for long enough. I haven't played the Matrix game. I haven't played it yet. It's something that I've been wanting to, but I've been so far up the game I'm about to talk about's arse that I haven't played anything else. Guys, I finally played Deathloop. It's been on the back burner since it came out on launch. Me and Phil, I think we both put about an hour in each, I think, and then just kind of left it and never went back to it. And I promised you guys that before we do our Game of the Year conversation, that I want to have at least played through Deathloop to completion and Metroid Dread. So I'm happy to report that I have played Deathloop through to completion. I've done everything, and I'm at 94% through on the trophy completion. So I've got one more loop to go, and I'll have had the platinum on it. Have you got any questions before I kind of go into this, guys?
Is it worth me playing it? Seeing as I have it, and after the first hour, I haven't been sort of drawn back into playing it. I don't know if that's just on sort of my time allocation with gaming, or maybe I just want to play League more these days. I don't know what it is that hasn't given me that push to go back to the game. Is it now? You're going to turn around and go, Phil, it's a must play?
I don't think it's a must play. But what I will say is the first couple of hours are the weakest part of it, by far. Because what happens is you go through basically an entire loop of a day. And each time you go through a particular section, it introduces either like a new gameplay mechanic or a new thing that you can do in there. It's very hand-holdy, and it doesn't actually open the doors up until probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours in. And then at that point, it's free to go. Now, in terms of how the game is actually presented itself, it's actually extremely linear, really, if you want to mainline it. So you get main quests, and the whole point of your character, which is Colt, is that you've been put into an island you wake up on the beach in an island called Black Reef, and you have no memory, you have no idea why you're there. There's this woman called Juliana who's talking to you on a radio, and you slowly unravel that you're in a time loop, and the same day is going to repeat itself over and over and over and over again. You've got, I think, 4 different places that you can visit on the island, and each one has a morning, noon, afternoon, and night period, with the map updating and changing for each different location at each different time, with different events happening and different things that are happening in certain places. And those always happen, but it's in your understanding of what happens when to be able to piece it together to unravel the story. And the whole story, the whole point of it, which it explains very early on, is that there's these visionaries. I think it's 8 visionaries, and you've got to kill all 8 to be able to break this time loop. And that's what you got to do. So you got to do it all in one day before it all resets. And so the way, if you mainline it, the story will point you out for where you can find different people at different times, where they are, how you can kill them all in one day. That's all told to you as you go through the story. So you don't have to figure any of that stuff out for yourself. But it's in the experimentation of how you do that makes the game so fantastic to play. Because you could come at a scenario in very, very different ways, depending on the powers that you have at your disposal. So when you go out into the field, you can take 2 different powers with you. So that might be like a version of, it's called Shift in this game, but it's essentially Blink from the Dishonored series, where you teleport from one location to another, kind of short distances. You could take that out into the field with you, and you could take one which called Nexus, which links people together. So if you kill one person, it will kill everyone else that's linked to that person. You might take that combination out. You might take a combination out which is Shift and Ether, which makes you invisible. You might take one out which makes you so you're like a tank. You can take loads of damage, and when it wears off, you would kind of explode in power. There's loads of different ways that you could go about taking on these individual places, let alone the guns that you can take with you. And so it does set up a really, really good way of just going in and just having fun. The way I describe this game, the reason why I don't think it's actually as good as people are saying, and especially not a game with your contender, I don't think, is because it's Dishonored, but with less depth. That's how I'd describe it. Dishonored gave you all the tools at all the time, and it was just your playground. And the difference was that if you killed everyone and just went mental and just used all your powers on everyone, just, going completely crazy on a bloodthirsty spree, it would have ramifications later on throughout the game. There was a downside to doing that. So you could play like that if you wanted to, but the world's going to get fucked up. Whereas if you play it really stealthy and you don't get seen and you only kill the targets you need to, you're going to have a better outcome in the end. And that's the kind of the way that Dishonored sets itself up. Whereas on this, it's more restrictive. That distilling of your abilities to only be able to take two in, that simplification, does make it more infinitely replayable. But I'd prefer personally to have the choice and to have ramification, which I feel is missing from this. And even though the story is great, it's a really, really good story. I'm not going to go into any spoilers. It is fantastic, and the characters are really good, they're really likable. To me, as a massive Dishonored fan, it kind of does feel like a step back for me from what Arcane did with those earlier games. So to answer your question, Phil, I think it's something that you should play. I think it's something that you'd have a great time with. But personally, I wouldn't rate it any higher than an 8 out of 10.
That was going to be my next question if we have a rating. One thing I do want to touch on, and I think that was kind of a interesting thing when they were kind of like doing all the promotion for Deathloop, was kind of their strand gameplay, to quote Hideo Kojima's technique throughout Death Stranding, because I have to bring it into the podcast at some point, don't I? Where people would drop into your game at certain points and sort of hunt you down. Did you experience any of that when you were playing through, or did you play offline so you could get all the trophies?
Well, if you put it in single player mode, you get an AI Juliana who comes in to fight you. And sure, she's not as good as an actual player, but she seems to spawn in always the worst fucking time. They seem to just trigger it where you're just sneaking into the place, you're just about to take out a target, you haven't killed anyone else, you're going for a particular trophy, right? You're like, I can do this without killing anyone or without being seen. And then she just spawns in. You're like, oh, fuck's sake. And it just makes things a lot more difficult. I have played with both the AI and players, and playing with other players is fun if you're not wanting to particularly achieve anything. Like, if you're just going in there thinking, I'm just going to play like a story mission through where there's no ramification, nothing like that, totally cool. But if you go in for a particular trophy, it's a fucking nightmare, because they kind of know the area that you're going to be in, and they're tenacious. They don't fucking stop. Whereas with the AI, they're pretty fucking dumb, right? They're just kind of running at you. You just take them out and move on. But players are smart, man. And it's interesting, but annoying at the same time.
So it goes from the difference of playing like bots in Counter-Strike to actually playing humans, where they actually hunt you down. And yeah, I can see what you're saying. Like, you know, against a human opponent, it's going to be much more difficult to achieve what you want to do. But it probably just turns into a bit of chaos. And maybe that's quite fun in itself, especially when you get to the higher levels and you unlock all those abilities that you were saying.
Yeah, definitely. And I got to say, I've had a lot of fun actually going in and invading people and being Juliana. It's actually so banter, because you kind of go in, you see him for a while off, and you think, oh, I know what he's doing. I know where he's going. And you're like, right, I'm just going to fucking wait there. And you just get over there, and she's got an ability called Masquerade, where she can appear as an AI. She can appear as like one of the NPCs walking around, and that NPC then looks like Juliana. And so they're often going up to like take out Juliana, and I just pop out of nowhere, surprise, motherfucker, and just absolutely like cane them. And then just, because on Deathloop you have like 3 lives before you actually loop, before the day loops. So you kill them, and then you just go and re-hide, and you just following them all through the map, just doing their head in. And it is fun. It's like the same way on Dark Souls when you invade on that, and you know the guy's like, oh Jesus, please just don't, you know, I'm having a tough enough time anyway, and now I got you there just doing my head in. It's exactly the same feeling of satisfaction you get for being Juliana. Just this total dickhead move, but it's something really fun about it.
Okay, I have one question. Deathloop, I've heard nothing but great things, except the one bad thing I've heard is that the AI is terrible. So what's your experience with the AI? What do you think of it?
The AI is pretty bad, like really bad, but it does feel like it's by design. I think if they were any smarter than they are, the game would actually be really annoying, because the stealth aspects of this aren't as important as they are in, say, Dishonored. In this, because there's no ramifications, you could just see a whole host of enemies, fly yourself straight into them, activate Havoc, so you like power up, and just kill all of them. Shift up to somebody and just boot them. You've just got your R3. It's just a boot. It's like a Duke Nukem kick, basically, on Duke Nukem, the first person ones. And you just do that, and you just boot them, and they just go fucking flying. And so you're literally kind of encouraged almost to get into combat. Or that's the way that I feel with the game. So I think if they were smarter and they were kind of more hunting you down and you were trying to be stealthy, I think it would add an extra layer of challenge into it, which would maybe discern you from wanting to go full guns blazing. Whereas on this, because they're so dumb and they're just running at you all the time, it just becomes a shooting gallery and a fun one. And the game, for as much as I'm saying it's not like a Game of the Year winner, it's addictive. And pretty much every night this week, I've been up till like 3 a.m, up for work at 7, because I cannot stop playing it, because it is just fun. And that's about it for what we've been playing on this episode, guys. Let's move it on to quick news. Quick news. Now, normally, listener, you'd expect me to do a stupid noise, or Spencer actually normally starts, so he'd do a stupid noise. I want to explain something. We've only got one topic today, which is talking about the ramifications of the Game Awards, kind of the winners, what we went through, our personal awards. It's going to be quite a beefy one. So, because we're not having 2 extra topics there, we thought we'd expand on quick news a little bit. So if there's anything we actually want to talk about, we will go off on it. So think of it as more medium news. Maybe like a slow jog news rather than a quick news, okay? That kind of vibe. But let's dive into this. Spence, kick us off, mate.
Quick news. That was a bit shit at the end. Quick news. So we finally have an alternative to the DualSense. Not that I've asked for one, and I don't think you boys have asked for one either, but it exists. There are now third-party PS5 controllers that have been announced by Scuff Gaming. These controllers will feature adaptive or instant triggers, removable and programmable back control pedals, swappable thumbsticks and faceplates, and there are going to be 3 variants of the controller, being the Reflex, Reflex Pro, and the Reflex FPS.
What are the price on those?
The Reflex is $199, Reflex Pro $229, and the Reflex FPS being $259 respectively.
Nah.
That feels a lot for me, to spend on a handset. But the only thing I really know about the Scuff Gaming brand, they seem to do a lot with kind of influencers over Twitter and stuff like that. But I don't know anyone who's actually a gamer who isn't an influencer who owns one of these handsets. Do you?
Yeah, our mate Ray owns one. He's got one, and it's really, really popular for Call of Duty. I know that. I know a lot of Call of Duty players, they haven't made the transition to the PS5 version because it's not Scuff supported. It's going to be good news for the people that really, really, really take first-person shooter games seriously on console. For me, I don't need it. It's only so cracked you can get, You don't want to give me one of those. You don't want to give me one of those. I'll get banned, I just don't need it. What about yourself, Spence? Are you thinking about getting into this?
I like it. I like that they exist. The price is egregious. There's no shot I'm going anywhere near those prices. But I do like the back pedals on the back of the controller, just because there are lots of instances in Call of Duty, especially, that's what these controllers are designed for, where people just, sweaty little kids, just jump around corners, drop shot you, and it's like, how are you aiming at me when you also need to press crouch or jump? And that's because they've got these back pedals. So if I want the advantage, I need the back pedal, and currently you can't get it on the DualSense without modding your DualSense, which personally I think that is what I would do rather than going to these Scuff controllers, because it would be cheaper. I'd pay someone else to do it because I don't want to fuck about with my controller like that. Just buy a new handset, 60 quid, get a sexy new variant, chef's kiss, and back pedals installed. That's all you need. You don't need instant triggers. What's the point? Play on the PS4.
Or if you want to play FPS properly, play on the PC.
Can't argue there.
Moving on. What's something that goes medium speed?
Probably you during sex, mate.
I'm getting old now, mate. I like to draw it out.
He's like this.
Just touch it.
That ain't medium, hello.
What do you reckon that is then?
I just reckon she's like, go faster, and he's like, I can't.
My hips. My hips.
My hips.
So many questions there, and
to
what most of them surround why you imagine me having sex. Christ,
I need to, mate. It's how I get hard.
Jesus Christ!
What is going on tonight?
Move it on.
It's the Christmas special, boys.
Fucking hell, he wants to be stuffed like a turkey.
Medium news. The game Fist, Forged in the Shadow Torch, we have an update. We have supported language added, so we've got Russian, German, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. We have a boss rush function added, so that's access to the glowing portal at the bottom left of the lower torch after you complete the story. We've got soundtracks and mini art book, so you can listen to the splendid music created by our technical composers and find some early concepts of the city, and there's some minor bug fixes. Me and Davey, obviously, we love this game. Davey, is there anything in there that you're sort of looking forward to? I know you're absolutely amazing at French and German because we've heard your accents on previous episodes of the show.
Yeah, I'm so good that I'm definitely not going to do any language in this episode because it would blow your mind, and we don't have too much of a big French component or Brazilian component, so I'll leave those alone. Yeah, in terms of the boss rush mode, I actually would be interested in this. The only thing about it is that I tweeted at the studio and asked them if they were putting trophies in with this update, because if there was a trophy tied to the boss rush mode, I'd do it. Otherwise, I got too many things on my backlog to go back to it now that I've already got the platinum. And that's the downside to it. It's too late. If it was kind of out sooner, while I was actually playing it, I definitely would have done it because I was in the Zen mindset right then. Now going back, I'd be rusty as shit. I'd get bodied for such a long time until it all came back to me. So it's a bit late for me now.
How about you, Spence? Is there anything there that's sort of going to bring you back into playing a bit of Fist? I know you weren't a massive fan when it first sort of came out, but sort of any of those features sort of bringing you back?
The game was fine. I got bored, and I think the game would have to do a lot more than this to bring it back for me, unless my backlog someday clears up magically in 20 years if I really sit down and grind. But that's never going to happen. My backlog's a lot more important than Fist is right now, so I don't think there's any chance I go back to it.
For me, lads, again, I love the game. Haven't completed it, haven't platinumed it, so I do need to go back and sort of finish that off. But there's nothing there for me that's sort of bringing me back in. But I do need to spend some time, so it is on my backlog, and I do want to finish the game because it was superb.
Medium news. Herman Hulse has tweeted that they have acquired a new studio into the PlayStation Studios family. Now, unfortunately, guys, it's not Kojima Productions. It is Valkyrie Entertainment. So Valkyrie Entertainment are a support studio. They've worked on titles in the past like God of War and the Halo series. So it is one of those things that when you got a growing studio family like PlayStation have, you need to have the support there to ensure that your projects get out on time and they reach the level of quality that PlayStation are known for. So this studio, unfortunately, we're not going to really feel the impact across the brand of IP, but it is a good purchase nonetheless.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Lick o' my willy, suck on my cock. It's medium news. We finally have some information on the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection. The game's going to have a fidelity mode with 4K 30 FPS, a performance mode with 60 FPS, doesn't say the resolution, and performance plus mode with 1080p 120 FPS. I don't know whose TV is going to support that. It's also going to feature near instant loading, spatial 3D audio, haptic feedback, adaptive triggers, and it's going to come at either a $50 flat purchase or a $10 upgrade if you already own the games. However, Sony did pull Uncharted 4 and The Lost Legacy from sale on the PlayStation Store ahead of the release of this game. So if you were planning on just getting the game for cheap and upgrading it, unfortunately you can't. You could just go to CEX, but you didn't hear that from me. Also, this game will be released on PC in 2022. No specific date for that.
I also got one thing to add on to that actually as well. For UPS 5 players that want to go onto the PlayStation Plus collection and redeem Uncharted 4, it does not count as your upgrade path. So you cannot get that and pay £10 to upgrade it. So you have to buy the game. Bit grim, really. I'll tell you what's interesting though. Why the fuck isn't there ray tracing on that? What the hell? What are they thinking? We said only on the last episode that we'd only get onto this if there was ray tracing. And sure, these fucking features are great, right? That's standard. I expect that as fucking standard. If Insomniac can put that in there when they did Spider-Man Remastered, why can't this? Uncharted is way less complicated than Spider-Man is. And yet we don't have a ray tracing feature with an open world fucking city. What the fuck?
Two things. One, I cannot believe it's not in there, not included. And two, I cannot believe they don't listen to the show. We told them.
To be fair, we only gave them a week's notice in their defense.
That's true, but they could have reached out to us and said, look, guys, we're thinking about doing this. What do you reckon? And I would have said, how's the trophy list? That would probably be my first place, actually. I probably would have derailed it. In fact, I probably would have been the cause for this to happen. Because I'd have been like, how good is that trophy list? Can I get it in one playthrough?
That's quite funny. What are we all bringing? You're bringing trophies. Spencer's bringing the bug hunter, and I'm asking for some sort of Hideo Kojima reference somewhere throughout the game. Is that what we're saying?
That's pretty much it. We'd pretty much derail any project that we could be put on. So, in fact, actually, don't reach out to us. We're certainly not the people to go to in this case. But am I alone in this thinking? Am I alone in thinking that this is actually just not what we actually want from this? And will that impact your purchasing decision at all? Spence, let's start with you.
I mean, I'd have liked ray tracing. It'd have been a very nice feature. And it should be included. It should. I'm hoping it is, and they just haven't said it. I'm hoping they're just like, of course ray tracing's in the game. We don't need to tell people that. Of course it is. But it's probably not. It's probably not in the game. Even in fidelity mode, surely it has to have ray tracing. I don't understand why it wouldn't. It makes no fucking sense. But that being said, I'll probably still buy the game just because I never bought Uncharted 4. I never bought any Uncharted games because I got the Uncharted trilogy for free on PS Plus and I got Uncharted 4 for free on the PS Collection. So I've never actually given this IP money. And I love these games. So I kind of owe it that. And I don't have faith in the Uncharted movie. But I know the game's great. So I'm going to give my money to that.
What about yourself, Phil?
Well, Davey, as you know, I already own the whole series. I've got all of the games. And I'm looking at the wiki now. Uncharted 4 Thief's End came out, 2016? For me, I don't know if I need to go back yet to play that game. Especially with these editions, there doesn't seem to be anything there that's like, oh my god, I really need to play this now on the PS5 because of these editions. It's too soon, and there's nothing in there for me. So I'll probably miss this one out.
I'm thinking that I will upgrade. I know I will. But not now. The same way that with Death Stranding, where I'm kind of sitting on it, I've got too much to play right now, and it's coming out in January, where I've already got a pretty sizable backlog. With the fact I just bought like Alan Wake, Jedi Fallen Order, I got Dread to get through, Guardians when we swap for Christmas, Phil, and then we're going into Death Month. I'm going to be busy until probably the middle of the year. So by the time I get to it, it's probably going to be £10 to just buy straight up. So that's the problem. But I think if somebody's not in that situation, maybe they might think, yeah, let's go into it. But for me, I'm going to sit on it for a while.
That's a really good point, because if you're not going to upgrade straight away, you may as well wait. These reimaginings or re-editions of games, generally, they drop in price quite quickly. So you should be able to pick it up at a cheaper price. You won't be paying the $50 or the £40 sort of, in halfway through sort of next year. So if I'm going to pick it up, it'll probably be much later on or sort of secondhand at CEX, as Spencer sort of gave the nod earlier. It's medium news. Reports say a playable version of Bully 2 has been seen, and it was expected to be seen at the Game Awards. There seems to be a lot of rumblings about this game, so as soon as we hear anything more than just these rumblings, just these rumours going around, you, our valued listeners, you'll be first to know. But guys, we're all hyped about the Bully 2 coming out, aren't we?
I mean, I've never played the original Bully. I know it's a fantastic game, but Bully 2 coming out would give me a good reason to go back and play the original. So, I'm keen. I need to see footage. I need to see gameplay. And if it's good, then I'll dive in.
Davey?
I'll never pass up an opportunity to chuck a ginger in a locker. Ever. Ever. So being able to do that in this, I think would be class. The reason that I'm actually interested in this is solely because, if I'm totally honest with you, I think this game's got fucking big balls if it is coming out, because games get cancelled for just being about a war which happened 20 odd years ago, right? Like 3 Days in Fallujah or whatever it is. Like, people going mental in that because it's based on some war crimes that happened. This is actually about bullying people, and it's going to come out if apparently the rumors are true. I can see the social media, like, people that are just like get offended at, a gust of air blowing in the wrong way would go fucking spare over this. Seeing some specky guy taking his glasses off, stamping on his glasses and nicking his fucking sandwich, right? Like, I cannot see a reality in this comes out. And if it does come out, big props to Rockstar for just saying, do you know what? fuck off, it's a game. And we're just going to have some fun.
Davey, you're right. The original Bully, it came out in 2006, and it's a different age to where we're at now. But hypothetically, if Bully 2 came out and it was taken from another perspective, and it's about fighting the bullies and overcoming that oppression that you have to go through as a kid if you've got a big nose or big ears or you're ginger or, you went through school, you had bullies, and how you overcome that sort of journey. Maybe it's from the other side. It's not from the bully's perspective. Possibly that could be the take they're going for.
Oh, that's just fucking boring. That's boring. We always get underdog stories. You want it to be a punching down story, and that's what makes it unique, right? That's what makes it unique. That's what makes it stand out. If you have it the other way, it's just like any other game. It's like if they did a Home Alone game, right? And you're Macaulay Culkin, or whatever his name is. I can't even fucking say his name, right? And you're keeping the invaders out. That's a standard game. If you're playing as the burglar trying to break in and nick a 10-year-old's toys, that's unique, right? Sure, it's on the side of people saying it's morally questionable, but that's what makes it appealing to me, is that it's something that you don't see anymore, especially now, where everything's got to be so PC. I think it could really stand out from the rest of the pack.
Just to repeat, any games developers listening, you don't want our advice. Spencer, how do you feel about it?
All right, well, first off, I gotta say, Davey, mate, sorry to crush your dreams, but I'm fairly sure in the original Bully, you're a ginger. So you are the ginger. So if anyone's getting a locker, it's
Yeah,
you.
but he's a big ginger. They're a different breed, aren't they? They're the ones that can go out in the sun. They're day walkers.
Yeah. Okay.
Just because you're ginger, just because your girlfriend's ginger, mate, you can still give him a little tap.
Oh, mate, she's fake ginger. It's not even.
That's worse.
It's not even legit. Yeah, it's worse. She chose. She made the choice. She made the mistake.
I always just like the ginger aspect because it's something that's like so petty. It's like something that's always been like ever since you were a little kid. It's like the first thing that someone said, "Oh, it's fucking ginger," right? And like when you're an adult, it doesn't ever come up anymore. And it's just...
It does. It definitely does.
It does.
It does in the office. If someone's ginger, everyone's like, ginger. People are still petty as fuck, mate, right?
Oh,
they really are. Like, a ginger's views mean less.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's hate speech. If you're ginger, write into the email, pswetrust@gmail.com. Let us know your experience in life. Is this still haunting you to this day? Or is it something that left you when you were 10? I'd love to know. I would actually love to know. My cousin's ginger, I could just ask him. But he's ginger, so I don't.
Get him on the show.
Oh my god.
Just out of interest, guys, did anyone play the original Bully?
No, I didn't. At the time, I was kind of burnt out on Rockstar's properties. I played all the GTAs at that time, GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, that by the time Bully came out, I was kind of done with it. I was kind of just done with this kind of like open world kind of sandbox thing. I wanted more kind of like just story-based games. So it just passed me by.
Yeah, I never played it either, but I've watched a Let's Play because I've mentioned this before on the podcast. I think my favorite YouTubers, Two Best Friends Play, they broke up a good few years ago. And I love those guys. They were so good. A while ago, I was just looking through their old videos and I started watching their Bully Let's Play. I think it was like right after we started the podcast. It's a great watch. It was a great game as well. It's a great game to watch. But I've never actually dipped my toes in myself.
Fair. I'll keep that noted for our next nominations for Spoilercast of the Past.
Medium firing gun. Medium news. Call of Duty Vanguard was the best-selling game of November in 2021 in the United States. This marks the 14th year in a row that Call of Duty debuted as the best-selling game of its launch month. Now for the year, Black Ops Cold War remains number 1, with Vanguard coming in at number 2. We reported not too long ago that Vanguard just wasn't selling, especially here in the UK with sales down 40%. It looks like in the US, it's just business as usual. So COD's just doing as good as it normally does. So no surprises really anywhere.
I'm sure that sounded terrible on the mic. Medium news. Forspoken previously known as Project Athia, the Square Enix project from a long time ago, has finally been announced to have free graphics mode revealed at launch. This fidelity mode, full 4K 30 FPS, performance mode, 1440p 60 FPS, which is the one I'll be playing, shame it's 1440p, and ray tracing mode. However, we still don't know the current specifics of that mode.
Personally, if I'm going to dive onto that, what I want is that ray tracing mode. If it's 30, that's absolutely fine. I wouldn't mind like just the resolution taking a bit of a dive. Maybe 1440, maybe even going down to 1080 if it gets a bit hectic. But having the FPS closer to 60, that's what I'd like. That's what I'd like. I basically just want all the teams around the world just to copy what Insomniac do. Because I think they're three modes where you got your fidelity, your performance, your ray tracing kind of performance. Those are just fucking sick. They just look great. So I just want that.
Isn't it terrible that we have to choose? It should just be the best, you know?
No, I completely disagree. Because if I was forced to play games like Demon's Souls at 4K 30...
I mean 4K, like 60 FPS. You shouldn't have to choose. It should just be the best. It should be a graphical performance mode. You know, let's really unlock the PS5. Let's get to that stage.
I mean, I personally prefer FPS over graphics. So that's why we get a choice.
I get what Phil's saying, though. Let's get to the point where we don't have to choose, where it's just the best version of the game, you know? And that is it. So you get to the point where you get the PS5 Pro, for example, and then it's 4K 60 ray tracing, you know? That kind of thing. That's what you're on about, Phil, isn't it?
100%. And I could see this being so muddy for, like, you know, the younger crowd that have just got PS5s, especially now coming up to Christmas. People unwrap their PS5, they bang in, you know, the newest game, and they're like, I don't know. I don't even know what any of this means. So they'll just play it on whatever the default setting is. The default setting should be the best. And we need to get to that stage. Okay, it's not just yet. I am looking towards the future. And that might be the PS5 Pro.
I will say, before we move on, my best guess at ray tracing mode, because that's what I'm going to do, is either going to be 1440p 30 FPS with ray tracing or 1080p 60 with ray tracing. It's going to be one of those. I would hate to see it 1080p 30 with ray tracing, because in which case, get rid of the ray tracing and you're on a PS4.
Completely agree with you. Completely agree.
Medium news. We've been predicting this since day one of the show. Ubisoft has announced and it's greenlit the development of a remake of its stealth classic Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. I know you lads, it's been something we've been wanting and it's finally happening. I can see, Davey, you're popping off. How are we feeling about this, lads?
Super chuffed, super hyped to see this come back. And from what the team is saying, where they're just remaking the original one and just keeping it really faithful to that, over the moon with it. Over the moon with that. I think it's a brilliant way for them to be able to gauge how successful the series is in making a comeback. I want it. I fucking want it. I want it now. I want to see shit. The only thing that's gutting is that we're fucking ages away from it because they said they're very early development.
How about you, Spence?
Well, for me, I've never really dipped my toes in a Splinter Cell. I've not actually played a Splinter Cell game. If I have, it was maybe for like 5 minutes or on a demo disc back in ye old days. So I don't have much experience with this franchise. So this remake would be a great entry point for me. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm happy it's happening. I don't mind waiting because obviously I'm not hyped for this series. But I'm hoping when we do see something, it will make me hype.
For me, lads, after our recent playthrough of Metal Gear Solid, there's been a fire lit under my ass for this kind of game. I cannot wait for it. So bring it on. Bring it on.
Ba 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 ba. Medium news. Final Fantasy XIV is so successful that Square Enix is temporarily suspending new sales of the game for the next few days. That includes both digital and retail versions. New free trial registrations are also suspended, and ads across the board for the game have been suspended as well to stop new players coming in. The reason for this is because the servers are overwhelmed. They've had queue times on this of upwards of 3 or 4 hours for a little while because of how good this game apparently is. Old fans of Final Fantasy are saying that this is the definitive version of Final Fantasy, And new players are coming into this, moving over from WoW, where a lot of WoW's long-term streamers are fed up with the game and have now moved over to Final Fantasy. So I've heard nothing but huge praise for this Endwalker expansion, massive praise across the board from literally everyone. And it seems that Square just thought, you know what? Instead of doing what typically happens, where we look after the new people coming in, try and get them in, we're going to look after our existing player base and stop damaging their experience before we fix the server shortage, which they can't do at the moment due to a chips shortage, which they cannot get the parts for. And that's the reason for this difficulty in the servers.
Square aren't building their own servers, mate.
They are for this.
Are they?
For what they've said, yeah.
That sounds mental. Why isn't it just on AWS? Like,
I don't know.
What is going on?
Everything I've read is said basically that with the coronavirus and the chip shortage, they cannot get the parts they require to get their own servers up. So I assume that they're doing their own.
Mad. That sounds crazy to me, and especially for a company that size to not have sort of preempted this. You know, you could see the subscriber base sort of building up, and sort of the service should be scalable. But that's really impressive to get to the stage where they're like, it's literally at the top end now. We cannot accept any more people.
And especially where you think about where this game has come from. So Final Fantasy XIV had a disastrous launch. It was literally one of the worst launches I've ever known for a game to ever go up. It went up and literally they pulled it, they nuked the entire project and did it again. Final Fantasy XIV, and it was known as a World Reborn or something like that. A Realm Reborn.
It was a Realm Reborn.
And that's it. And then it came back and people really enjoyed it again. So it's a proper success story, this game. And the fans absolutely adore it. And the guy came out and he was like, look, I'm really sorry. The creative director was like, I'm really sorry that we're having to do this. We're trying as hard as we can to try and get things better for you guys. We're delaying launching our new content because we'd put it through final bug steps. We want to make sure it's perfect for you day one. And everyone's just really enjoying the way they're communicating to their audience, looking after them and making sure they're getting a great experience from the moment it goes live with this new content, rather than what other people do, where it goes live, the new shit's fucked, doesn't work for anyone, and then they fix it, after an apology. They've just been treating their audience really well. And surprise, surprise, if you do that, word of mouth spreads, people get interested, they get disillusioned with the games they're playing at the moment from, WoW and I don't know, who else plays MMOs, like I don't know, Lord of the Rings Online or some shit, I don't know. Not my cup of tea. But even so, I thought this was mega interesting. Spence, what do you think about this?
It's awesome. It is actually great to see them sticking with their existing players, because no one else does that. But my issue with it is that I heard FF14 was great a while ago. I downloaded it, and I haven't started it yet, because my backlog's been so big. So now I physically can't. I physically can't start the game even if I want to. Which I guess encourages me to play my backlog, so I should be thanking it. But I've heard great things. A lot of the Smash community asked me to play this game with them, so I was going to do that. But now I can't, which I guess doesn't suck for me really, because I got shit to play. Sucks for them.
Just going off what you were saying earlier, Davey, it's no surprise then that they actually won at the Game Awards. Sorry to foreshadow our conversations in the next section, but they actually won the Game Award for the best ongoing game. And when I was watching the Game Awards, I was like, I know nothing about this game. How is it winning these awards? But this is obviously the reason if it's that sort of oversubscribed at the moment.
Yeah, it's crazy, really. It's one of those kind of success stories that just reminds me of like No Man's Sky, right? Where they have such a bad launch and you think, fuck me. And at the time, obviously, I've been pretty down on Square for a while because the last Final Fantasy game that I really fell in love with was Final Fantasy IX. So I've been a long distant Final Fantasy player for forever. But hearing the hype that people say from like my generation of Final Fantasy, saying like this is Final Fantasy again, in Final Fantasy like 14, gets you really interested. It really does. The problem is I don't have time for an MMO. I don't. So I can't see me going back. I really can't. Like no matter how hyped this is, no matter how good of an experience, I don't have those amount of hours. That would be all I'd talk about on this podcast forever. I'd be like Phil. I'd be like you were with World of Warcraft. I can't do that, right? I just cannot do that. I can't be that level of sad.
Mate, what you need to do is sign yourself up to a university course and then you can just play these games. It's totally fine, right? You need to be at that age. That's the perfect MMO age, right? Or do a PhD like my brother did and basically get paid to go to school, but just play video games for the entirety of it.
Yeah, maybe that's what I should do. That's what I should do. Now, the last one we're going to go into is all about the PlayStation plates. I kind of just want to open this up to you guys, right? We've obviously had a massive bit of news. The thing we've been speaking about ever since the launch of the PlayStation 5. We've had D-Brand, we've had all these different competitors that have come in. They've all been shut down across the board. Sony have finally come out of their woodwork with the plans. Have you guys seen them? And if you have, do you want to fill the rest of us in?
Yeah, I can take this. So I've seen them. I've seen the plates. I've seen the new dual sensors. I've seen everything. And the colors they're offering are Nova Pink, Starlight Blue, Galactic Purple, Cosmic Red, and Midnight Black. So 2 of these plates are the same as the past DualSense controllers they've released. I know you bought Midnight Black, Davey, and I bought the red. But now there's 3 new colors in the spectrum, being the blue, pink, and purple. Damn, they're nice. I mean, the controllers I like a lot more than the plates. Because personally, I'm gonna wait for Last of Us 3 plate. But that blue plate's got me feeling some kind of way. I don't know. And plus that pink plate, I mean, it's nice. Same as the controller. I do like it, but baby blue, oh my god.
You love a baby blue, don't you?
I love a baby blue. It's such a sexy colour, mate.
For me, I saw them, and I was like, oh, the blue isn't my kind of blue. I like more of a deeper blue, like a kind of royal blue. I was like, oh, it's not my cup of tea. Saw the pink, I was like, oh, it looks fucking jazzy, right? But it looks like I'd have to be in like permanent strobe setup in my room. Something like that, or be on acid all the time to have like that neon pink. I saw that purple though. And I was like, that is so pimp. So fucking pimp. Those plates and the pads combination just look fucking incredible. Now, my only issue is my PlayStation's horizontal. So there ain't no fucking way I'm getting plates at the minute. No chance. It would have to be, like you were saying, it would have to be something like a God of War plate, a Horizon plate, a Metal Gear Solid Remake plate. It had to be something like that, right? To get me to actually do the plates, because I can barely see my PlayStation. It's just in the unit. I don't really look at it. The pads are a different story, but I've already got 2. I don't need one right now. So I think I'm siding on this the same place you are, in that I'm going to wait for a special edition and then jump on the bandwagon. Phil, what about you?
I'm the same as you, Davey. You know, I've got my PS5 under the TV. It's not out on display or anything like that. So me getting a plate's a little bit of a waste unless it's, a Death Stranding plate for whatever reason. That might possibly happen in the future. But what I don't understand with these color choices, because they do split people down the middle, especially that baby blue, people love it or they hate it, don't they? I've seen a lot of outrage on Twitter about some of these colors, but I don't understand why they don't go down the route, like Xbox do with their handsets, or, Nike do with their trainers these days, where you can literally walk into, Nike store in London and you can basically create your own trainers. Why aren't they allowing people to just choose their own colors? That seems strange to me.
Well, this is something that we've been asking for forever. I think it's one thing that Xbox do exceptionally well is allow you this level of customization to be able to go in and say, right, well, I want it to be blue and red, or I want it to be orange and blue, Goku colors, right? I want it to be that, and have, on the touchpad, have SSJ Davey written on it, and have like my YouTube logo maybe on the side or something, and to be able to pay for that level of customization. And sure, it may take like 2 or 3 weeks or 4 weeks to arrive, and it might cost me 200 quid, but it's mine. It's my custom one. People do that all the time in the Smash community. They'll pay hundreds of pounds for a custom pad. In fact, Spence, you own one of those, don't you?
There we go. I bought this after winning a tournament, so I just used my tourney winnings because I was feeling like hot shit. And I also didn't want to get my pad mixed up with someone else's, because that happened a lot back in the day. So now I've got this little spend pie thing, and it's changed since, because that's the back of it is just a normal black controller. So I've customized it myself a little bit. The buttons were fucking disgusting when I bought it. I don't know if that's a common thing with buying custom controllers, but I had to buy another new pad and swap out the insides because it was gross. I got it with a PlayStation 3 analog stick as well. That shit was nasty.
Davey, you know, like back when we played sort of Street Fighter 4 semi-competitively, we customized our sticks. You know, it is a massive requirement, especially now with all the streamers. They want their own kind of like logos and branding across all the consoles they play and all the systems that they use. So it just seems like a no-brainer. Hopefully Sony transition to this in the future, but I can't imagine they will. I think they'll just go, do you know what? These are the Sony colors. If you don't want them, on your bike.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think you're probably right. I mean, you can replace the kind of handset color yourself now, can't you? Which is quite nice. It's not the same as a fully custom controller to how you want it to be in terms of your designs, your graphics printed onto it, your name, you know, a fucking QR code to link to your YouTube, whatever you want, right? You can go fucking mad. It's money on the table that they're just leaving there.
Your only other option, I suppose, is to go down the sticker route like you did with your PS1 and the HSC sticker that you had on the front, mate. That was the only way to customize it back in the day, but people did it. I've got another question before we move on from this topic. Do we think the plates were Sony's plan from the start? Or do you think this is a reaction to the amount of hype that was surrounding plates? Davey, I'll come to you first.
I'd like to think that it was on plan for them. But being how slow this has been to come out, I kind of think it is in reaction to it. Because the way it's designed to be clippable on and off, seems like they thought, oh, well, this is just a good way, you know, to get access to the internal components. If something goes wrong, it's really, you know, easy for if someone sends one back or if someone needs to change something, it's great for that, or cleaning. And then they saw everyone else doing it, they thought, fuck, shit. We need to lock this down now. Someone get fucking R&D on this now. Get some fucking questions out there. What colors do people want? Blah, 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 blah. I think it is that. I honestly think it's that.
Spencer, what do you reckon?
I think 100% it was planned from the start. The way the plates are designed, same as what Davey said, so easy to clip on and off. And in terms of getting to the internals, once you take the plates off, it's just as many screws as it would be for a PS4. So it doesn't benefit too much in that sense other than for the M2 SSD drive. So the plates just being clippable to come on, off and on, surely is a design feature. Surely. It's
a weird one, and I guess we'll never actually know the answer unless, of course, PlayStation DM me. You know, my DMs are open at the moment. Sony, if you want to, you know, divulge that information to the PS in PS We Trust podcast. But Sony, they've always done their own custom handsets, and they've always done like themed consoles, haven't they? But they've never gone to the stage of actually, you know, buying plates to put on it. It makes a lot of sense to go down this route, but I agree with you, Davey. I think this is reactionary, just based on the amount of hype that was surrounding it, the amount of money they probably spent on the lawsuits. They were like, we need to capitalize on this. This seems to be a massive thing people want. And maybe that's the way we actually get Sony to start doing the things we want, right? We need to like get together and like band together and just build these things, because if we don't, Sony's will just ignore it.
Well, you think about it, right? Sony were the last ones to come on board for cross-generation play. Even Nintendo got in front of the board with that one. I wouldn't be surprised if they thought to themselves, right, well, we're not going to do that. We're not going to release plates because then it stops people buying multiple consoles. For people that want to have like the black version of the PlayStation 5, they'd have to buy the hardware again, right? Which is what it was on PS4. If you wanted the God of War version, you couldn't just, you know, unclip the front of your PlayStation to slot it into the God of War one. You had to buy a brand new one. And there are collectors, right? There are people that will buy multiple different variances of that hardware and have it knocking about. It's never been a reason for me to actually do that, but I don't have that kind of money to waste. Whereas a collector, they think, yeah, I'm never going to look at it, it'll be in the box forever, but it's cool and I got it, right? It's a new variant for me to add to my collection. And I could see them having that mindset. And then when they saw the amount that D-Brand were getting in pre-orders for the black plates, and they thought, shit, this is a lot more lucrative than we thought this was going to be. And so they've reversed course. But like you said, Phil, who knows?
Sony released the PS5 knowing full well that there was a shortage of parts. They didn't have the means to make enough base PS5 and then make collector's editions on top of the fact. They had to just make base PS5s and then give you a way to customize rather than giving you either one or the other. Now you get both. due to the shortage in processors, I think this was kind of the only option. And if it was a reactionary kind of decision, it wasn't due to the plates. I think it was due to the shortage.
It's a great point. It's an absolutely fantastic point. But I think that's about it for medium news. Listener, if you enjoyed this different stance on news and the way we deliver it, let us know. It's happened this time because we've only got one topic, but if you guys really like this more kind of in-depth news, let us know, and we could potentially have a look at changing the show. Speaking of the show itself, there's multiple ways to support us, but there's been one huge way that's just gone live for us. 60% of our audience listen to us on Spotify. You guys haven't had the opportunity to rate the show before because it's always been down to Google and down to Apple. You're finally able to help us out now. Please consider spending 15 seconds of your time clicking on the 3 dots next to our profile on Spotify and click the rating option. And just put us as whatever you think we are. It doesn't have to be 5 stars, just go honest on it. But it all helps us. It really, really does. Just nothing else today. That's all I'm asking for. If you can please just give 15 seconds, rate us. It will make a massive difference to how this podcast is found online. I think it's about time we move it on to the topics. Stop! Topic time. All right, guys, so we've got one topic to discuss today, and that is the Game Awards. So the way I reckon we go about this is, obviously, we're getting to this quite late. And unfortunately, it's just the way the cookie crumbles with our show because it's fortnightly. Last year, we did really well because we had it out pretty much immediately after the Game Awards. This year, we're a week late. So, listener, I do apologize for that. However, we're going to go on this in quite a lot of depth. So even though we're getting to this a week late, there's still going to be a lot for us to discuss here that I'm hoping that you'll find interesting. So first off, guys, we made predictions for this. Do you remember what our predictions were?
Yes, we did. And I'm rubbing my hands together because one of mine might have been right.
Are you on crack cocaine
sure?
today?
Yeah.
Well, let's just go through them. So my obvious prediction for the show was that we would see Spider-Man or Wolverine from Insomniac in some kind of vein. My second one, which was a little bit less predictable, I thought we would see the Matrix demo, right? Or some sort of announcement around that. My third one was the PS5 in some other format or more availability, because at the moment no one can buy them for love or money. So I think I get the 2 for the Matrix.
What do you reckon with that, Spence?
I forgot that his second was Matrix.
I mean, you can play it 2 ways. You have a side with me early, right? And then you don't get a shot. Or you eke it out, and then we still prove I'm right because we listen back to the episodes and you get 1 each.
Can I just check with you? You said that on the Game Awards would see the Matrix demo. Is that right?
No, I said we'd have some sort of announcement around the Matrix game, demo. It was related. So number 2, the Matrix Awakens. I think I've got 2 to hand out.
Bro, I'm going to say, this is Phil's prediction. It's going to be vague. There's no way he said specifics.
Even if we're going on the vagueness of my predictions, if we look at your predictions, was there any vague connections to any of your predictions?
I don't know if I'm agreeing with this. I personally am saying that it doesn't count because all that was shown at the Game Awards was the film reveal.
2 shots for Davey then.
So I'm personally siding against it. Spencer, it's your call. I'm quite happy to take both of these shots if you think that Phil's right on this. But I think because he said it about it being the game demo shown, and it wasn't, it was the movie trailer that was shown, and it was just...
The game demo was released, though.
Yeah, but it wasn't. Nothing was shown. And you had both of the presenters. We knew both of the presenters were there beforehand.
I didn't before I made the prediction, though.
Right. What I'm going to say is that I'm currently on Polygon.com looking at the reveals of the Game Awards 2021. And on that, it says The Matrix Resurrections plus Awakens. It says both were revealed. So I'd like to know what Phil actually said as his prediction. But knowing Phil, usually vague, I think he has to get it.
Okay, so Phil's got 2 shots to hand out at any point over the rest of this episode. Spencer, how did your predictions do?
I took Metroid Prime 4 as my crazy, Breath of the Wild as my possible, God of War as my likely. Yeah, and, well, let's just say, I think I'm the only one out of the 3 of us that stayed up for this game show, for this award presentation, and I went to bed disappointed.
Yeah, well, I can follow you in that disappointment because my safe was Returnal, DLC, or some kind of expansion.
It's quite vague.
Yeah, but it's also a lot more specific than the game that we already knew that was going to be shown there.
We didn't. We just knew they were handing out awards. That's all you know.
Oh,
and I made
okay.
these awards. I made these predictions before.
Okay.
You're only asking. You're basically saying to me, Phil, can I have those 2 shots right now? That's what you're asking me for. That's all I'm hearing in these headphones at the moment.
Hey, I'm just being the voice of the audience here who are like saying, do you know what? They've been fucking done here. But
when have the audience ever been on your side, mate?
That's actually, they're your fans. Yeah, they're
It's
right.
the millions.
They've like, Dave, you're going to get it now.
And millions of my fans listening to us. And they're all thinking Davey needs his shots.
Putting it back, my possible was the Metal Gear Solid remake was announced. Obviously didn't happen. You would have not had a continent left in Europe. If that had happened, I would have exploded. And my crazy was Infamous returns in any form, either remake, remaster, or new entry. And, guys, diddly fucking shit for me. I got absolutely nothing. So, judging by Spencer's ruling on this, Phil, you have bested the predictions on this episode. Well done on being part psychic for the game that was already announced to be there. So, moving on. What were your thoughts on the actual Game Awards show? And can I get a rating? And we can go off on this if you want to. Spence, what do you reckon? What were your thoughts on the show and your rating for it?
I thought the show is usually well presented, so I expected it to be well presented, and it was. Geoff Keighley came in. His shoes weren't outrageous. They weren't shoes. They were still sneakers, still trainers, but they were black, and so was his whole outfit. So it was better than I expected. The reveals were a bit lackluster, and by a bit I mean, where was PlayStation? Where they at, please? And Nintendo. Nintendo barely showed up as well. So I don't know what's going on there, unless there's some special state of play Nintendo Direct coming. But presentation was good. My favourite part of the presentation was probably Tiny Tina. The comedy in that was actually class when they came out on stage. For like, the game I was looking forward to was Forspoken, but it was awkward. A lot of people on stage clearly just either didn't want to be there or were confused about what they had to do, what they had to say. The guy, Simu Liu or something, from Shang-Chi, he was just a bit obnoxious. But in terms of like Geoff Keighley himself presenting the Game Awards, it was done really well. And all the music we heard was great as well. I did really enjoy it. In terms of a rating, because you have to consider everything in terms of a rating. Presentation was good, but was it good enough to make up for the lack of hype and games I saw? 5 down the middle.
What about yourself, Phil?
For me, Davey, I wasn't impressed. You know, I echo a lot of the thoughts that we've just heard from Spencer. You know, the presentation was great. Geoff Keighley, he wasn't wearing outrageous trainers, and that would have knocked him down a point if he had come out in over-the-top Nikes with his very actual stylish suit. I could have seen myself wearing that, you know, when I'm presenting the Game Awards in future years. But if you're asking me for a rating, I'm probably going like a 3 or a 4. I didn't enjoy the Game Awards for the games. I enjoyed it for the music, and I enjoyed it for the announcements that were related to games, but not actually the games themselves. There was probably 2 games in the whole show that I was actually excited about, and we'll come on to those a little later. But everything else, I was just like, yeah, it's just another game I've either heard about or it's an Xbox game. It just wasn't for me, the show. Really, really, really poor for me.
So for me, guys, it's no surprise here. I'm siding with the same as you guys, really. It's a 5 or 6, around about there. The reason why I'm giving it a 6, right? See, I'll go for a 6 just to be a bit different, right? I'll go for a 6. The reason why it's a 6 is because I wasn't bored, but I wasn't hype either. And for the fact that it went on for like 3 odd hours, and I was entertained enough to stick with it and watch it, that's at least something. That's at least some praise there. But you're right, there was no pop. There was no bang. Jeff Keighley had come out on Twitter and he said, expect the same level of announcements as Elden Ring at the Summer Games Fest. And there was nothing. There was literally nothing. Now, we're going to get into our top 5 announcements and things that were shown later, so I'm not going to go into examples here. But in terms of echoing the thoughts that have already been said already, the music was superb. The presentation, the way it flowed, I thought was great. It was just a shame you didn't have the pizzazz there, the kind of wow factor that you need from one of these conferences to be like, wow. You think about that last Sony conference we had, not the State of Play, but the last conference we had where, you know, it kicks off with Knights of the Old Republic. And then you get just like God of War, you get fucking Horizon, you get all this shit in one conference, Spider-Man, and you come out and you're like, fuck. You've got the entire breadth of games to pick from. And there was nothing from anyone. Nothing. No like crazy big Xbox stuff. No crazy big Nintendo things. No crazy big Sony things. Literally nothing at all. Where the fuck is everyone? Where is everyone? It doesn't make any sense to me.
So looking at the scores, I'll go with a 4 out of 10. Spence, you were 5, weren't you? And Dave, you're a 6. So overall, MPS We Trust official rating for the show, a 5 out of 10. So we're pretty middling on this, guys.
We know how we all feel about it now. Let's start it off with our top 5 games or announcements of the show, and we'll go through it in rotating order, starting from 5, going through to 1. Spence, you start us with your number 5, and we'll move it on from there.
So, boys, for my number 5, not hard to say for me, it's The Expanse, a Telltale series. The reason for this is just Telltale's back. I love Telltale games. They're the easiest platinums I could ever ask for. You know, I love to see that little pop just for reaching the end of Chapter 5. It's class. However, they've picked up a new IP, being The Expanse. And I am not very informed on this IP. So this Telltale series, this Telltale kind of retelling of the story, is kind of all I have to go off. But Phil, I know you love The Expanse. You've told me about it a bit. Davey, your dad as well. However, he's not on the podcast. So Phil, fill me in. What am I looking forward to with The Expanse?
So yeah, you're right, Spence. I'm a massive fan of The Expanse. I sort of got into it late, so I didn't really get into it when it was aired on Sci-Fi. So I think there's been 6 series now. Prime Video sort of picked it up for season 4, 5, and 6, and that's where I sort of jumped into it. But I went back to the back catalogue and sort of went through it all. But to see Drummer sort of within the Telltale series, and she is my favorite character, I was so hyped to see this. This was the number one thing that actually got me really excited about the show, outside the music and the other announcements I'm going to sort of mention. But yeah, incredible to see The Expanse within a game, and it's done by Telltale, so you know it's going to be quality. And there's so many tropes, there's so many things that you recognize that are like Expanse specific, such as when the boots are sort of walking along and the clips and stuff. It's just like, oh my god, it got me really, really excited to see that within a game. And I'll be buying that day one, I guarantee.
So you're number 5 then, Phil?
All right, so I want to broaden this out slightly. So you've said games and announcements. I kind of want to go into the music realm as well, because I think the music was so significant within the show. And one of my picks would be the Sting performance of What Could Have Been. So this is a song that was heavily featured in the Netflix Arcane show. So Arcane is the Riot animated series that's on Netflix at the moment. And it was absolutely incredible. It blew me away. I know you're smiling because you obviously thought I was going to enjoy this. And I really, really did. You know, I'm not the hugest Sting fan, but I'm a massive Riot fan. And Arcane is incredible. And that song, whew, loved it.
I got to say, for somebody that hasn't watched Arcane yet, it was a nice song. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the performance, but it didn't mean anything to me.
How about you, Spence? Have you watched Arcane yet?
I haven't watched it yet. It's definitely on my list because similar to you, but not as deeply, I think. I am also a fan of League of Legends. Obviously, I don't keep up with it as much as you do. I haven't played it in a long time either. But I was like gold 5. I don't know which one's highest. I was almost above gold. It was a long time ago I played this, but I was sick at League. You know,
That's like fucking Everest to Phil right now. I mean, Silver League to him is like in the horizon. So seeing gold past that's like being in outer space.
It's different times though when you play, isn't it? Though, you know, like if you try to like climb at the moment, you probably find yourself, you know, sort of iron level compared to me, because we did have a game quite recently, and you know, some of those cues weren't really hitting for me. As I said, this was an incredible, you know, thing to see live, especially backed up by the Game Awards Orchestra, because they are absolute quality. But guys, I can't understand why you ain't listening to me. We're on, what episode are we on? 32 now? I bang on about League. I bang on about Death Stranding. You boys got sorted out. I'm telling you.
What I'm surprised about, mate, is that you remembered this music. Because you don't have a fucking clue when it comes to video game music. We've already established that. So I'm surprised. I'm really surprised that you picked up on any of this at all. So if anything, this is a good bit of character growth for you.
Thanks, mate. I really appreciate that. And considering some of the songs you played on kazoo, I'd either never played or played when I was like 16. Yeah, I could probably understand why I didn't pick up on those. You know, you obviously played them note for note.
Yeah, it was. My recorder, especially. I've heard feedback. People say it's the best recorder they've ever heard in their goddamn life. But, you know, that's just certain people. It's fake news otherwise. So, my number 5, guys, moving it on. My number 5 is Alan Wake 2. And the reason why it's at my number 5 is because I haven't played Alan Wake 1. I've got it. I haven't played it yet. So, I was hyped for everyone else being hyped. But the thing that sold it to me, and the reason why it's made my number 5, is because they said survival horror. Those 2 words are enough for it to make a top 5 for me. The genre is so rare at the moment. The only entry we've had into survival horror this entire year is Tormented Souls. Because it certainly ain't Village. Village ain't survival horror. It's not. It's an action game. So, hearing those 2 words together put so much fucking joy in my heart that I cannot fucking wait. And I'm glad that I got time now where I definitely will have seen and played Alan Wake before I get into number 2.
That interview was so funny though, wasn't it? Where Jeff Keighley was talking to, you know, the developer or whoever it was, you know, sort of connected to Alan Wake, because he just embodied the series. He was like so scary himself. I was like freaked out by the guy, honestly. He was giving me chills.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be in that headspace to be in the survival horror genre, surely. Spence, you're number 4, my mate.
I feel a bit saddened to put this at number 4 because I'm actually really hyped for this game. But it has to be in number 4 because of the way it was revealed at the Game Awards. And that game, I spoke about it earlier in Quick News, or Medium News this episode, was Project Athia / Forspoken. That's taken my number 4 space. And it would be higher. It would and should be higher. But I know enough about this game already to know that I'm buying it day one. And the trailer they showed at the Game Awards, I think, was the weakest trailer they've shown for this game. So that's why it's at my number 4 space.
I'm not going to tell you where it's placed on my list yet, but it's certainly higher than 4. Out of all the games that were shown here, this is the only one that I know that I'm buying frame fucking 1. It's the only one that I know out of everything that was shown, apart from Horizon, but come on, I mean, fuck me. I am so excited for this. They could literally show me her taking a shit and I'd be like over the moon with it. Because I cannot wait to actually just get my hands on this. I just cannot fucking wait. I was still like, there's no way this movement can look this fucking clean. It just looks like, just amazing. Just in the way that she's like jumping over the little things and like in the air. I was like, and you saw like a bit of ice explode, the water explode into ice again. We saw the same thing we've seen before. But I was still like, Jesus Christ. Like, there's no way this is going to be as good as I'm hyping it up to be. But, as it stands right now, I am fucking day one. Phil, do you have any thoughts on this?
No.
Fucking scumbag, mate. You need to get your priorities in order.
That is crazy.
It's just not my type of game.
That is crazy.
There's nothing there to grab me, unfortunately, guys. I wasn't hyped. This was one of the ones where I made a cup of tea on.
It's too fast for you, mate. You're about the medium speed.
Mate, I love Death Stranding. I'm all about wandering around in a field aimlessly. hiding from ghosts,
True.
and throwing piss grenades.
That's fair. So what was your number 4 then?
My number 4, and I'm going to sound like a massive Riot fanboy, which I actually am. I really enjoyed the announcement that the Riot sessions are available. So this is a collection of music in partnership with a number of talented musicians that is available for anyone to use on Twitch or anything where they're doing streaming, Davey with your YouTube, and there's no copyrights involved. It's just free to use, and it's quality music. And they pushed it multiple times throughout the Game Awards. And yeah, I would recommend it because some of those tunes are quality and they're free. So why not use them?
I find it so funny that one, you don't like music in games because you don't, and that's been your 5th and your 4th. But also, your staple on the podcast is the one that doesn't play games. And the 2 announcements you've said so far haven't been games.
Wait to my 3rd and 4th one, because they're both music as well.
Oh my god. I mean, fair enough. To be fair, I'm actually really hyped about this as well, because Twitch streamers have had a lot of issues with copyrighted music. A lot of issues. And a lot of people, especially lately, have been moving to YouTube as a streaming platform because of it. Because Twitch's copyright is abysmal. The way they do the music, it is horrible. If you use copyrighted music in your stream whatsoever, that stream VOD is gone. It's gone. People can't watch it. They either mute the VOD in that time so they can't hear you at all, or it's deleted. And that's the way it works. People had to dig through their Twitch VODs and delete all their old VODs just in fear of their account getting banned because of this. So Riot doing this is actually amazing. And I've listened to the music in Riot games before. I'm sure it's all stellar music. So, tip my hat to them.
I mean, as a YouTube creator myself, not a very big one, obviously, but I do create YouTube content. There's always that struggle of finding music to include in there that's not copyrighted. And fortunately, because I do game reviews, it's quite easy in that way, because I can just incorporate some like kind of longer loops of gameplay music and use that, and that's absolutely fine. But if you're doing kind of variety content or you're doing streaming or anything like that, I can imagine it gets really, really difficult. So anything like this is great, and I thought, that's a really good idea for a studio to do this. Not hype enough for me to make it into a top 5, but still, it's a good idea nonetheless.
All right then, Davey. You both have bashed me about my choices so far. How about your 4th? Let's hear it.
So my 4th is the game that we've been speaking about quite a lot in Rumour Has It over the last few months, and that is Star Wars Eclipse. So that has come straight in at my number 4. I thought this trailer looked fucking amazing. Sure, it's a CG trailer, but seeing the kind of world that they built there, all based around like, what's that drummer drumming on it? I thought, what the fuck is this? And then it all built and just built this trailer. I was gassed by it. I thought, wow, it's true. Obviously it's true. I mean, it's been rumored for ages. I'm super hyped. I can't wait to dive into it, and knowing what Quantic Dream are capable of by their previous games, I have no doubt that this game is going to be great at the very least. Easy in at my number 4. Could have been higher, but I got some other things that kind of tickle my fancy a little bit more. So Spencer, what about your number 3?
So my number 3 hurts. It pains me to say this because it's not a PlayStation title. So if you're PlayStation diehard, which we are to be fair, cover your ears. Mine are in headphones, but they're flapping over themselves because they don't want to hear what I'm about to say. My number 3 was Hellblade Senua's Saga. And that's because when that game was first shown at the Xbox reveal, I thought it looked amazing. It just kind of pulled me. And Hellblade is kind of a game where the main character is like schizophrenic. She's just always hearing voices. And they showed a bit of gameplay, and I don't think the gameplay looked amazing. It didn't, because it was literally a cinematic where you're running, and I imagine all you do is press R2 to throw a spear, and that is it. But just seeing how good the game looked, and also hearing the voices, was just really cool. And I love the idea of this game. So I'm hoping we get to see more of this game. I'm hoping it comes to PlayStation, but it won't. If not, I can play it on PC anyway, because Xbox, they're stupid. So, I'm sound either way, but I think it deserves the number 3 spot, at least on my list, because I'm hyped for that game.
Spence, interesting hearing you put it at number 3. I get where you're coming from. I think for me, and I'll read my note out to you. I took notes as I was going through. This is my exact note that I wrote down for Hellblade. Hellblade didn't look like gameplay at all, and I mean that from an insult way. How much control did she actually have there? Graphically, it looked great, but it looks boring as fuck. And that's what I put down. Because unlike something like The Last of Us or something else, where it looks cinematic, and they show something and you think, no, that's not possible. It is possible. Whereas in this, she just ran away and chucked spears, which looked like the spears did no impact at all. They bounced off a thing. And I thought, it looks good, but it needs to be more than that. So, going off what you said, I need to see more. And I think if they showed more, I'd be hyped. But seeing that and seeing people pop up and saying, this is next gen, to me, it just gave me flashback to the Order in 1886. That game looked proper next gen when it was shown, but it turned out to be a load of fucking gash. A proper middling game. And so far from what I've seen here, nothing about it blew me away whatsoever, apart from the fact that it looks pretty. But that ain't enough for me.
They need to play that Matrix demo. And talking about Matrix demo, because I got that right, Davey, I think you probably should have a shot at this point.
All right, well, you're going to have to give me a minute then. I'm going to have to go get my shots. I thought Spencer would side with me on this. He's fucking done me. He's done me.
Yes, Spencer sided with me for once. For once.
So not anything too crazy, guys. I don't feel like tequila after the blowout. It's too soon. So I'm on Disaronno.
It's been a month.
Still suffering. Still waking up. Shivering. Cold sweats. Shit in the bed.
Shit in the bed. Not quite, but it's not far off. I feel like I've been in Nam.
Touching cloth.
So I'm going to have a nice Disaronno and Coke. So that's my shot done. Thanks for that, Phil. One more to go, I guess, at some point in the podcast.
Who knows? Who knows?
Something I say.
Just start agreeing with me.
Oh, never. Spence, that's your number 3. So, Phil, over to you then. What's your number 3?
So my number 3, again, it's a music-based one because I absolutely enjoyed every second of all the instrumental stuff that went on throughout the Game Awards. And this one I'm going to hand to Horizon Forbidden West. So watching it, it just made me laugh throughout because there was this G and he was playing the flute and he kept drawing focus away from the lady in the red dress, who I've later found out is Julia Elven, who was singing the song for Forbidden West. And throughout it, he's just going over and above what he needed to do on that flute. He was amazing, but his performance, he was the standout. He was just in the back, but he was just going crazy. And it just made me laugh. Like, the music was incredible, but I was just laughing at the performance because you watch it back and your eye is just drawn to the guy, big afro, playing the flute because he's going way above what he should be.
He was going hard in the paint, wasn't he? He was going fucking wild on that flute. He made that flute look gangster as fuck. He was really ragging it about, wasn't he? Like, he really was. You could tell that guy's like a fucking showman. People are like, yeah, this guy, put him up front. He fucking loves it, mind. He was great, and that whole performance was fantastic. It really was.
Literally didn't notice the bloke in the flute. I was drawn. Oh, come on, you know me, boys. I was drawn to the woman in the red dress.
That's another Matrix quote. I'm loving that we're sporadically jumping in with Matrix quotes.
It's a Christmas episode. It's not a Matrix episode, all right?
It very much seems to be a Matrix episode.
So, my number 3, and I feel like a bit of a virgin putting this at my number 3, I'm not going to lie, but I was actually blown away by it. I really was. It was Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. I cannot believe that they fucking got me. I don't know if it was seeing the Imperial Guard, which was the army that I played, up against the army that Phil played, which are those bug ones. Didn't you play those, Phil? I'm sure you got a load of those.
I've got a load of everything, mate. I had Ultramarines, I had Tyranids, and I also had the Imperial Guards, which you're talking about. It makes me laugh that I rated this so lowly, and earlier Spencer, he had a jab to the ribs there about, me not picking games out of it, and you've picked the only two games I've really liked in the show. Tyranids and The Expanse.
Seeing the Space Marines there, when they drop in and just totally lay to waste those Tyranids then, Phil, is that right?
They're the Tyranids, yeah.
Seeing them just like, the Imperial Guard really struggling with it, and then these like Space Marines just come in and just fucking obliterate them. I was like, yes, let's fucking go. It just looks sick. It just looked great. Like, the entire world just looks so fucking cool. I'm proper hyped, man. I never thought that I'd come out of this conference and a Warhammer game would make my top 3.
I'm a massive fan, and yeah, this was definitely going to be my number one. This was the one I was probably the most hype about out of all the different games that came out. But yeah, Warhammer games traditionally, it's pretty much been hit or miss. They've either been absolutely incredible, such as games like Dawn of War. The Total War series has always done quite well. I think the Vermintide series, that again has been sort of top tier. And yes, Space Marine, the original one, I remember back in the day, I ordered it. My girlfriend at the time lived maybe 4 doors down, and it was a pre-order, and she held on to it for 2 days. And I wanted that game so badly. Absolutely incredible game. I loved it at the time. And again, this will be a day one along with The Expanse. Space Marine 2, quality. Looks absolutely quality. Spence, do you have any interest in this?
I mean, I've never been a Warhammer guy. I've never, painted my own figures or anything like that. I've never delved that deep into nerd territory. But I respect it. I respect what it is, and I respect people knowing what they like and enjoying it. That trailer for that game was actually sick. I'm not gonna lie, that was a sick fucking trailer. But it begs the question, right, of what is a trailer supposed to make you feel and make you do? Because a trailer, you want to see a sick trailer that gets you hyped for a game and makes you buy it. Davey is never gonna be caught dead buying a Warhammer game. If you buy this game, I would be surprised.
I tell you what, if I see some gameplay footage of this and it lives up to what I'm thinking right now, it's a day one for me. This game was originally at my number 2 position. I've actually bumped it down a little bit. I was so excited by this. You have literally no idea. As long as this game doesn't come out and I see gameplay footage and it looks like what Space Marine 1 did, which was like kind of a... Back in the day, we used to have like, you had your AAA games and you had your AA. There was like a clear distinction between the two. And it was a AA. You could tell it was a AA. If this comes out and it's a AAA kind of style game, I'm in. I'm fucking in. They got my money. I will openly admit, I was a massive Warhammer fan. I used to go to Games Workshop events. I used to go and play. I used to actually play it. Spent hundreds of pounds on my Imperial Guard army. I had loads of different tanks. I had loads of different platoons. I loved it. Me and my cousin just used to sweat it. He used to collect Space Marines. I used to play Imperial Guard. So we'd go together and just be a collective army against whoever was against us. And I used to fucking love it. I used to absolutely love it. So yeah, I'm backing my nerds on this. I'm backing my nerds. I'm not going to sit there and have you disparage the pure art of Warhammer 40k. If it's original Warhammer, you're a fucking virgin. 40k is where the boys live.
Considering the stock price of Warhammer, or Games Workshop as they used to be known, during COVID has dramatically increased, as you can imagine, all the geeks thinking, well, I've got all this time on my hands. Why wouldn't I want to paint some models? And of course, I've got back into it during COVID and sort of invested some money in buying the Necromunda games. So they have got that budget to be able to push out that AAA title. So fingers crossed it hits those high heights that you're hoping for there, Davey.
Fingers crossed. So Spencer, what's your number 2?
Right, so my number 2 is Alan Wake 2. I was really, really excited to see this. Alan Wake is so good. I never played it to completion. I have it on PC. I got it a long time ago during like a summer sale. And my friend told me it was really good. Played it for a bit. I don't know why I never completed it. I'm bad with games. I always have been. If I lose interest for a minute, it's gone. I'll never play it again, same as I did with Fist. but I really enjoyed the time I did spend with Alan Wake. And I'm not going to buy the remaster because I don't need to. I'll borrow it off Davey when he's done, or I'll play my original copy of that and American Nightmare. But it was a great game, and if they're taking this series that they clearly love, because they didn't touch it this whole time, because they wanted to make sure the next iteration was a true good iteration of Alan Wake. That's what they've said. If they take it, go above and beyond and make it survival horror, oh my god. It's going to be so sick. The whole concept of like light versus dark, obviously it's done all the time, but in survival horror, I would just love to see what they do with this IP. And I'm really excited to just see some gameplay, see a bit more, because all we saw was his face. That was all we saw. But he looked good.
It was a pretty face, wasn't it?
It was a pretty face. He looked damn good, and I can't wait to see it again on my PS5. So that's why Alan Wake 2 is sitting at my number 2 spot.
Phil, your number 2.
My number 2. Again, we're going back to the music. Performance by Imagine Dragons and Supermassive Games. Okay, so we have Ashley Barrett on stage. She's part of Supermassive Games, who also does stuff on Hades and Transistor. They did a rendition of the 2011 game Bastion, Build a Wall, which I'm a massive fan of. Played that game so many times. And then, of course, they intermixed their song Enemy with it. And it was an incredible performance. Yeah, loved it, guys. Did you catch that performance? I know, Davey, you said you had a bit of a difficulty with the music when you were watching it.
Yeah, so I was originally started watching it because I didn't watch it live when it went up, because for us in the UK, it started at 1, and I think because it was like a 3-hour conference or 3.5 hour or something. I knew I wouldn't finish it until 4:30, and I had to be up for work at 7. So as much as I can play Deathloop till 3 in the morning, I didn't think that I'd be able to last until 4. 4's just too much of a stretch for me. So I didn't. I watched it the next day, and I watched it on YouTube, or started to, and literally every fucking 5 minutes there was an advert on YouTube. It was horrendous. So I was like, bin that off, went straight onto Twitch and watched it on Twitch, and it was great until Imagine Dragons came on, and then it was content block ID. So it was completely muted the entire way through. So I haven't heard that performance. I still haven't to this day. So I don't know. I've heard people saying that people hate Imagine Dragons for some reason. I don't really know any of their music, so I can't really say anything. But all I see on Twitter is people complain about Imagine Dragons and say they're fucking shit. And then people saying that they might be an Imagine Dragons fan now after that performance. So I've seen that bounded about a few times, but I have no reference for this. Spence, you're probably the best person to come to for this, as soon as you saw it live.
Yeah, I did watch it live, and that Imagine Dragons performance, not gonna lie, I was listening to it, but I turned away and just kind of closed my eyes and just enjoyed that performance, because that performance was actually sick. I do like Imagine Dragons. I've always liked Imagine Dragons, but his voice, man, he has such a beautiful voice, and it came through. You could tell just from listening to it that they would be great to listen to live. And that entire thing, I love Bastion. Bastion's a fantastic game. So just hearing it, I was sat down and I was just happy. I had a smile on my face throughout the entire thing. It was so great to listen to. Truly, truly a good performance.
Well, we're over to me, and it's my number 2, and that is A Plague Tale Requiem.
Ooh.
I haven't played the first Plague Tale. I've got it on PlayStation Plus, and it's on my backlog. And it is one of those games that I definitely am going to get to, because I know it's a game for me. I know it's a game that I'll enjoy. And see the trailer for this, it fucking blew me away. I was over the moon with it, actually. There was so much shown in that I thought, wow, this is like a next-gen game. The limited amount that they showed there conveyed so much world building that I actually cannot fucking wait to sink my teeth into the first one. It got me more excited to play the first one than anything I've ever seen before. Spence, you played a bit of the original Plague Tale. What were your thoughts on this one?
I thought, I've played a bit of the original. I haven't finished it yet, and I do plan to, because it was a really great game. It was clearly a great game. It was actually so good. But the sequel, this trailer we saw, oh my god, I didn't expect to see it. I don't know why. And then as soon as it showed up, I was like, oh my god, it's Plague Tale. That's crazy. I don't know why I was so surprised to see it, but when I did, I thought, this looks sick. What a fantastic game. And it did make me just want to go play the original game. The same thing as you, except I still haven't. And I'm not sure when I will. it's making me think I probably don't want to finish the first game now. I'm probably going to play it closer to the release of Requiem. And that's probably what I'll end up doing. But God, it looked so sick. The whole premise of A Plague Tale is so good. I'm excited for you to play that game.
I'm excited to talk about it, if I'm honest with you. I really am. And I'm thinking I'm going to play it along the same lines as you. So when we get a bit closer, when we know a release date, play it a couple of months before. I don't want to play it like straight on it, because then you can get kind of worn down a little bit by that world. I think I'll play it, if we know it's coming out in, say, September, I'll play it probably June, around about there. You know, a good few months to have a little bit of breathing space before you dive back into it, but enough for it to be really sharp on your memory. So, Spence, that's about it for my number 2. So, what's your number 1?
Right, I feel like you might be a bit annoyed at my number 1. My number 1, if you thought about it hard enough, I think you could guess what it was. They showed Elden Ring.
Oh, fuck
boys.
off, mate.
They showed more Elden Ring, baby. We got a glimpse into the story of Elden Ring. It was entirely cinematic, and I don't care because we've seen enough gameplay. I know I don't want to see any more gameplay. They showed loads. This all the network tests. I've seen so much gameplay for this game. I don't need more. I'm going to play the game. I'm going to love it. But what I was lacking on was the story. And FromSoft knew that, and they said, yo, Spence, we got you, fam. Game Awards, story trailer. Damn, Elden Ring's going to be sick. I'm too hyped for this game.
Can I ask you a question? So you saw a story trailer. So what's the story about?
I don't
Exactly. This is always the thing with these fucking games. Why do you care? I finish a Dark Souls game, I get the end cinematic, and I have no idea what's happened until I watch like a Vault Vardia video, and he explains it to me. I literally never have a clue what's going on in that game ever. I'm surprised you care. For me, like, I'm excited too, but the story literally means fuck all to me, because I won't understand it until somebody else who's like poured through the item lore and the descriptions on each item and stuff like that, and pieced it all together, points it out to me. I'm really surprised in that for you, but I know how hyped you are for this.
Bro, I'll tell you now. For one, it's Vati Vidya. That's his name. And I'll also say they fully could have come into my house, kicked me in the head, spat on me, and said Elden Ring's coming out, and I'd be like, yes. Yes. Thank you, Joff. I'd be buzzing. It didn't matter what they showed. They could have just said, oh, just a reminder, by the way, Elden Ring's coming out in 2 months. I'd be like, yes, thank you, number 1. Thanks for reminding me. I'm so happy. Bro, it's all I care about. It's all I care about. My entire backlog or whatever I'm playing in February is gone. Because I'm so keen for Elden Ring. I'm so keen. I've never let anyone near my bumhole, but Elden Ring's going there.
All I've seen on your Twitter is you just retweeting the how many days till Elden Ring comes out. That's all I've seen. 76 days to go.
Bro, it's the only Twitter account I have alerts on for. It notifies me every day, and I retweet it every day. Just counting down Elden Ring every single day.
Oh my god. Needless to say, for me, it was cool seeing it. I thought it was great, but it's the least interesting part to me of a Souls game. It's the part that I know I'm going to really enjoy, like, months worth of content on YouTube from watching this stuff. But for me, I'm not going to piece any of it together. So it didn't mean anything to me, really. Phil, what's your number 1?
My number 1, lads, is Google Play to PC. No, I'm only joking. It's the Hideo Kojima Silent Hill references. You know, we had Deadman himself, and we had the introduction of Nightmare Alley, his new movie coming out very soon. And he ended his sort of section by saying, Silent Hill, I hope we get a new one of those. Now, lads, is it happening? Is it not? Are they just playing on it? What's happening there?
Fam, you're asking us to seek into the mind of Kojima. I don't know. I mean, they announced something along the lines, didn't they? Being Slitterhead, I think it was called. Which is strange they kept the same acronym as well, because that is SH, same as Silent Hill. So it's weird they chose to go that route. But, mate, it could mean anything coming from Kojima. It could mean in 25 years' time, we're going to get a rumour. For all it could mean anything. I want one. I'd love one, especially if it's like PT. Oh my god, PT was so sick. but we don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Davey, do you know?
God, if I knew, I wouldn't be on this podcast anymore. I'd be with Kojima, right? I'd just be there with him because I'd be psychically linked to him. Because God knows, I mean, we've all now, after the spoilercast from the past, had an experience of a Kojima game, right? And it's so hard to be able to tell. And the thing about it is that a Kojima game is playing all the time. It's not playing while you're in the game. It's playing when it's pre-release, before it's announced. He's always fucking with us all the time. And I love it. And I fucking popped off when he said it, right? When Guillermo del Toro said, fucking Silent Hills. Oh God. Right, I was fucking going nuts. I don't think it's happening. I honestly think he's just fucking with us because he's seen the amount of stuff that's been on Twitter where everyone's saying this has been coming out for like the last year. So no, I don't think it is. We'll wait and see.
One of the comments I think he made at the start in his sort of introduction before we got the Nightmare Alley trailer was he was saying that he wanted to be with the Game Awards, but he couldn't attend this year, but he'll be there next year. So he was kind of foreshadowing next year we're gonna get something from Kojima. 2022, we're gonna get something for Kojima. That I think that is something that we can confirm.
I think that's bullshit again because he's been there every single year.
He wasn't there that year though, was there? He was there, sat in his lovely Matrix t-shirt, which I definitely want one of those. If anyone wants to buy me one for Christmas, incredible. He was just on video this year. He wasn't in person.
He wasn't in person last year either because of like COVID and stuff, right? But it's the same thing this year. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's literally it. Next year he'll probably be there. Probably just, and this is the Game Award for Game of the Year, and that would be it. That'd be all he's there for. Or he'll come out and he'd be like, "I want to show you a bit of what we're working on," and he'd be like, "Bwah," and it'd just be nothing, right? It would just be like a fucking whale on a beach, like Death Stranding was. And you're like, "The fuck is this?"
It could be Metal Gear Solid.
God,
there's the extremes.
Don't. Oh my God, that's the two.
There's the extremes that we're playing with.
I'd pop off for a whale on a beach right now because it's Death Stranding. I'd fucking go mental for a bit of sea life anywhere. I'd be, oh, bit of sea life with Kojima attached. Jesus Christ, get me involved. That's all it needs. It's like Spence with Elden Ring. I'm like that for anything Kojima's working on. So it's the same level. So as much as I'm telling you, like berating you for your Elden Ring, like pop off, I'm like that if he just showed a fucking starfish. I'd go mental for it, right? Like literally the shittest sea creature ever, an enemy, and I'd be going fucking wild, right? T-shirt off, woo! I'd be going fucking insane. So, I can't judge you at all.
I mean, we've got lots of crabs in Death Stranding, so maybe he could have just showed you a few of those.
You could show me a pubic crab, and I'd be going fucking wild for it. Honestly, it's that level. It's that level of fucking simp. That's the issue that I'm dealing with personally. It's a problem.
Do you not think he could, obviously he said he's coming back next year. Maybe he comes on stage, waddles on. He's like, "Yes, lads."
Great impression.
Yeah, that's my Kojima. He's like, "Yes, lads." So today I'm going to announce a project I'm not working on, but I'm helping or I'm directing to develop. And then it shows Blue Point on the screen. What do you think?
I would be spent. That moment, I would be done. I'd be done. I'd have to just fucking sit there, bask in that glow for 30 seconds, and then think, "Oh no."
Then you get the realization of what's just happened.
Yeah. Oh, I've got a problem. I need therapy.
Difficult one.
Oh no.
Oh dear God.
So on that bombshell, Davey, what's your number one?
So I hinted to it earlier. My number one is Forspoken. Here are my exact notes. Forspoken looks so fucking hype. Man, like, I can't actually fucking wait. It's like Infamous all over again. 24th of May, let's go. And that's it. To me, it's essentially the same kind of playground that Infamous puts you in with those same kind of powers. I'm buzzing for it. I can't wait. Now, normally, I'd say for us to collate scores, but seeing as how one of us hasn't even included any games in that trio, I think it's kind of irrelevant. So instead, listener, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this. So write into the email, pswetrust@gmail.com.
Or you can join us on the Reddit. There's lots of conversation going on, and I make sure to post out after every one of our episodes. So feel free, join in. It's free. Get onto Reddit and search in PS We Trust.
And of course, reach out to us on Twitter @InPSWeTrust. I mean, it's on my phone. I got my phone all day, so I'm going to see your messages. I'll reply. Don't know what I'll say. Might be a bit offensive, but, suck it up. You know me. You listen to the podcast. You'll enjoy it. Also, any of our individual Twitter accounts, if you want to reach out to us, person to person, mano y mano, those will be in the description below.
And let's get into our own personal awards to give out. Okay, guys, so now we've wrapped up our top 5 games or announcements that were shown. I asked you all to think up of 3 personal awards that you want to give the show. Spencer, start with yours. What's your first award that you want to personally hand out?
Right, so my biggest award, or my first award, it starts with the biggest, that's why I said it was on my mind. Look down, My first award is the biggest fuck you. And the nominees are...
It's got a prop.
I mean, this is like my information for the job interview I had the other day, so I'm not going to actually pull this out. But the nominees are Doki V for their Korean dance. And Among Us VR for shoving it in our face one more time. But the winner is... It's Doki V and the live motion Korean dance. Because what the fuck was that?
I can't believe that I sat through that and didn't gorge my eyes out.
Exactly, mate. Biggest fuck you.
Bill, I'm surprised it didn't make it into your music nominations.
There wasn't enough nominations, mate. I had to include the Hideo Kojima ones. That only left 4, didn't it, outside that?
If it was top 6.
If it was top 6, it would have made it.
What about yourself, Phil?
Well, I've approached this slightly differently, as I do in most of these sections. I've come up with 1 award, but I've got 3 nominations for it, okay? So my personal award is for the most drip, or the overall most genius of a person that came on stage, okay? So we've got the winner of the best game direction. We've got the bald guy in the black skinnies with a tan trench coat, and he came on with his wife, and he was a straight G. We've got the best art direction. Again, this was they both of these are for Deathloop. This was a different bald guy who came on, white shirt. He had a camo tie with a white shirt, jeans on, and a belt buckle that was bling like he was back in the 90s. And then my third nomination is that G with the flute who was taking center stage in the Horizon Forbidden West music interlude. And the winner is...
Ooh.
Of course, the G with the flute. Congratulations. What a lad. He wins my award.
Well deserved. So he wins the award for the biggest drip. Is that right?
Biggest drip and overall genius.
I feel like if I won an award for biggest drip, I'd be a bit offended.
I'd be like, what? Why is he calling me a drip for? I got 3 awards, so I'll give you my first one. My first one is the gameplay trailer that showed literally nothing of how the game plays award. And that goes to Suicide Squad. For literally showing a trailer that I literally have no idea how the fuck that game actually plays. Because do you play as one character? Do you switch between them? I have no idea. That gameplay trailer wrapped, the game that I was probably most excited for out of this entire conference going in, seeing as I platinumed every single Batman game. And I have no fucking idea how that game even works on any single level.
I mean, could you not nominate Hellblade?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't even nominate Hellblade as being a game. It was just a cinematic trailer. So, Spence, over to you. What's your second award?
My second award is for most confusing game. And that's Wonder Woman. Because all they showed was her body, I suppose. And that is it. What is that game? They showed nothing. They didn't tell us anything. All we know that it exists. And that happens with a lot of games, sure. But usually there exist in IPs, or you know who's making it, or anything. Is this going to be like a Batman-esque game? Is it going to be something brand new? Is it freaking... God knows. I don't even know. But I'm fairly sure we heard her voice at one point or saw her face. I think we saw her face. And I saw her and I thought, man, that ain't Gal Gadot. And I was just disappointed because she's fucking oof.
Putting your simpy ways aside, I think this was probably one of those reveals that they anticipated would be on the same level as like Elden Ring. I think this is one of those ones they thought, like, even the way he brought it in, it's not leaked. No one's talked about it. Here it is, Wonder Woman, right? And the internet just breathed a collective sigh because no one cares. And it's a shame. But DC at the moment, they're in an all-time low. They do amazing animated movies. They do the best animated movies out of the entire lot. The cinematic universe just ain't there. And no one really cares. You know, if it was an Iron Man game, people would go fucking wild. But, you know, Wonder Woman, even though she's way more impressive than Iron Man is, in like every way, really, and you could do some really cool shit with that combat. You could just have it like God of War, essentially. Might as well. God of War, but with kind of Batman's combat style. That's how I'd imagine it. No one really cares. No, and I don't. And I'm a massive comic book fan. And I don't really care either.
The thing is, he said no one leaked it. No one knows. Mate, the thing is, I bet the leakers knew. And they thought, this ain't worth posting. This ain't worth chucking on 4chan or Reddit or Twitter or anything. The Wonder Woman game, man. What are they doing? I mean, I want them to make it a story-based game. Rather than what they do with traditional superhero games where it's loose story and it's more about getting to be the superhero. I'd like to see like an actual AAA bring in the story, make it deep. Because I don't know much about Wonder Woman's lore, but I would love to learn it. And that's what I want from this game. But it's the most confusing game because it might be that, it might not. It might be something. Is it Gal Gadot? Is it not? I hope it is, but clearly it's not.
I hope it's not, because as fit as Gal Gadot is, she ain't a great Wonder Woman, right? I never would believe that she'd be able to lift a fucking feather pillow over her head, let alone a fucking truck, right? I want Wonder Woman to be built. She should be built.
Get China from WWE.
You want Abby from Last of Us 2.
I do, mate, yeah. I mean, China, after her illustrious porn career, I can't really see her being a Wonder Woman stand-in just yet.
You've seen enough of her, have you, David?
I've seen too much, mate. I've seen too much over the years.
Too much.
But one of the easiest superheroes that I could see transitioning to gaming is Wonder Woman, because she's got a really like kind of melee-based combat system, so that is easy enough to translate. She's got super speed. She can deflect bullets. She's essentially bulletproof herself fucking anyway. She can fly if you want to make her fly. If not, you can just make her leap. Cool.
She's got an invisible jet as well, hasn't she?
I mean, I'd admit that. I'd admit the invisible jet from it.
I quite like that.
I'd get rid of that. A bit campy. I'd get rid of that, but I'd just have it down more the warrior style. It writes itself, right? Really, really easy to kind of get that gameplay loop kind of go in there. But like we said, there's just no fucking hype. No one cares. Literally no one cares. No one gives a single fuck about it because they want things we either haven't seen before, like a Superman game. If it was a Superman game, everyone would go fucking wild, because having that breadth of powers and abilities is something we haven't had in a superhero game, excluding Superman 64, right? From this equation, Wonder Woman's just a little bit more tame.
For me, it was so forgettable, and I'm actually disgusted that you even brought this up, Spence. So I think you need to take one of those shots, in the sense that we need to keep this podcast fair. And I know you were on my side. I think it's time. What you got?
Oh, bro, I forgot. I forgot you had a shot to give out. Oh my god. I thought we were finally bonding, Phil.
Not about the music.
Right, well, the fireball's coming back then, innit?
There we go. As long as no one pushes the button, I think we are out for shots. Well done, Spence. Well, moving on, guys. My second award goes to the old school. Okay? This goes out to the Deathloop developers, because every time they came on stage, they literally read their speech from an iPhone 4. Like, what is going on in France? It must be some sort of time loop. And I know Deathloop is all about time loops, but they were definitely stuck in it. both on their fashion and their technology they were using. My God, coming onto a stage and you're a developer of a video game that's winning awards, right? And you're reading off an iPhone 4 your speech. What's going on, bro? Sort it out.
What I love is that you give with the one hand, right? You give him the potential drip award, and then you take with the other. You're like, you looking good? Phone shit. Right? You can't... You're like Thanos, mate. You literally... It's got to be a perfect balance. No one's getting safe on this.
I've snapped those fingers. Those boys have disappeared.
Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God. So, my number 2 award is the Biggest Blue Balls Award, which goes to Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro for Silent Hills. Because as we've already said, they teased it, but it's just a constant fucking tease. My balls are getting big, they're ready to explode, and I'm just getting constantly tickled, but never getting to the climax. Please sort it out. Shit or get off the pot, because I need to fucking see this.
So, boys, my number 3 is going to be the worst reveal of Game Awards 2021. And for me, personally, there weren't even many nominations. Even though this wasn't a great showcase, the games were passable. None of them were like, oh my god, it's Elden Ring. I mean, Elden Ring was. Nothing else was. But the worst reveal, it would be Doki V, but they didn't really reveal anything. So instead, I've given it to Rumbleverse. And now you're probably thinking, what the fuck's Rumbleverse? And that's because you blocked it from your mind. That game is a battle royale. Surprise, surprise. Everything's a battle royale nowadays. Where you just punch each other. So not only are there no cool mechanics, no cool gimmicks, it's just a battle royale, and they took away the guns. The one thing that made battle royales fun. So instead, it's just a fat WWE cage match where the cage is constantly getting smaller. And you're rumbling, and you think, fuck me, I could be playing anything else.
Wow. That's a glowing review there.
Was this the trailer where there was that woman that was just going on a rampage? Like, that woman who was just, like, tiny, but she just seemed to be beat the fuck out of, like, 40 stone, like,
Yeah.
behemoths.
Yeah, it is. And the guy locked eyes with her, and he was like, that's my next target. And he went over there, and she, like, smirked. She was like, heh. And then she beat the shit out of him. Fam. We don't need more battle royales, especially when you've taken a battle royale, which was a great idea because it's selling billions, right? Making so much money, and then you think instead of adding a twist, let's take mechanics away, and that's it. So picture Fortnite. No, not Fortnite. Actually, you can't do Fortnite. Picture Warzone. Take away the guns, leave in the melee, and make it uglier. Yes. We're making money.
Make it look like Fortnite, but take everything away that makes Fortnite Fortnite.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
Dog shit.
Brilliant. I think that's the most just winner I've seen so far out of our awards. That is so fucking just. I literally totally blanked out of my mind, just like you said. I literally, as soon as you described it, it came flooding back like some kind of memory that should really be buried deep in my subconscious, you know? The kind of thing that only gets talked about in therapy, that then I realised that I've been suffering for years because of it, you know? In fact, if anything, Spence, you've probably helped me get over this in about 20 years' time. So thank you, mate.
You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome.
I've been furiously Googling away as you guys been chatting, and one of the search terms that are coming up, it says, hey, you know Fortnite? It's that, but punching rather than shooting.
Oh, brilliant. And no building, which makes Fortnite what it is, you know.
Yeah, rather than shooting and building. Mental, isn't it?
Fucking insane. Insane. How people get these games funded is actually beyond me.
Bro, it's because literally they pitch the idea and they say, so our idea, right? It's a battle royale. They go, yeah, done. There you go. Yeah, use the money. Because battle royales it's so fucking annoying, man. I fucking hate battle royales. Bro, just let battle royales die. It's such a done genre. Like, H1Z1, great. Yeah, it was great at the time. Freaking PUBG, great at the time, free to play now as well. They announced that, fantastic. Yeah, great. I'm probably going to play PUBG now as well because I know it's fun. Fortnite's the only one to do it and continue.
Oh, well.
Really? Realistically speaking.
Well, Apex is great. I won't hear a bad word about Apex. Apex is fantastic.
Yeah, but it ain't making Fortnite.
No, but nothing is. Fortnite...
That's what I mean.
The thing is, right, going in now to the Battle Royale genre is a fucking death sentence, in my opinion. Because...
It is.
How do you compete? Right? Like, you've got... No matter how good the genre is, you've got a limited amount of attention that can be given to you, right? And you're competing with the likes of fucking Fortnite. Like, you've got to have the fucking license of Call of Duty to even make a dent. And to be fair, when Warzone was first announced, I thought, whoa, I don't know if this is a good idea for COD. But I thought if any game can do it, it's COD, right? As we spoke about earlier, the biggest selling game of the year, and it has been for 14 years on its debut, right? If there's any game that can make it into Battle Royale, it's that.
The issue is that COD tried it with a Black Ops game. They tried it. They added a Battle Royale mode, and it failed. It failed. And then they had to pool their resources and make Warzone because they knew they wanted to compete in this space because it's such a successful space. It annoys me it's so successful. But they failed their first try, which is unheard of from Call of Duty. Other than, they've tried to change zombies and failed. But it's unheard of. Call of Duty doesn't fail. They don't. They're number one. They probably always will be. I can't see it changing. Because I'm going to buy COD next year. I know that. So it's insane to see they failed and they had to kind of figure out what people want and they've done it. But it's still not being Fortnite. Nothing is touching Fortnite. So now it's not a case of, I think, beating Fortnite. It's just surviving in that space.
It is coming from a relatively notable game studio, though, Iron Galaxy Studios. Those are the guys behind sort of Killer Instinct. They did a lot of port projects, with Skyrim and the Arkham stuff, and they supported some of the big games like Diablo 3 and Fallout. So they've got kind of some sort of pedigree, but I don't know if they've really had that sort of standout game, and I think this may be their way to sort of breaking into kind of mass market really by going for that Fortnite-esque game.
I mean, not to derail this too much, but I think Iron Galaxy is a real shame because they did Third Strike, if I remember rightly. And for them to come from doing this kind of, these up-reses of really fucking great games, right? Everyone is crying out at the moment for a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 remaster or remake. Why the fuck didn't they just say, let's get on this? This is fucking free money. People would dive at this. And instead they think, do you know what, we're going to make something that's not even going to make PS Plus. Because it looks fucking shit.
Mate, bro, I'll tell you exactly why. I was thinking then, as soon as Phil said that, I thought, Iron Galaxy, I love Iron Galaxy. Why do I love Iron Galaxy? They are the First Strike people. That's why I know them from First Strike Online Edition. Fucking so sick. I love First Strike so much. Oh my god. We need to play that soon, please. But the reason they're doing this over Marvel vs. Capcom 2 remake or a re-release or whatever they would do is because even though people are dying for it, that community is dwarfed by the Battle Royale community. It is dwarfed. And as much as I would rather see Marvel vs. Capcom 2 than a Battle Royale, I know I'm the minority. And surely you do too.
But this is the problem though, isn't it? Is that people see a market and they think the market's big. But they don't think this slice of that market is going to be so negligible, they're not even going to make a foothold in it, right? So even though the chance is massive, the actual chance for success is so negligible, whereas they could release, say, MVC2, right? Just for example. Sure, it might sell tops a mil. I'm telling you, they ain't selling 1 million copies of this. There's no fucking way this charts in any metric. And if it does, fair play to them. I take off my hat. I really do. Because, I mean, people will play that fucking dodgeball game that we played on the last episode of this podcast that we totally dunked on. People played that.
Knockout City,
so
yeah.
There's kids around that are willing to play shit games. So maybe there is something to this.
I'll tell you right now, even a negligible slice of the Battle Royale community is probably larger than the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 community. You say 1 mil sales for Marvel vs. Capcom 2, it's not reaching 1 mil. It is not reaching 1 million. I think at best it's like half of that.
Anyone got figures on old Marvel games? I don't have a fucking clue. Nothing else to do, so that's all ask Google.
1.4 million units digitally after 10 years.
Infinite sold 1.5 million.
And that was received as shit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was received as shit, but that's a brand new game.
So what was say Ultimate UMVC 3?
Ooh.
That would be the most comparable.
The game sold approximately 600,000 units worldwide. But that's base. No, that's Ultimate. That's Ultimate. 600,000
Is that
units.
it?
Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was 3.4 million.
Worldwide during the first 2 months, and 2.2 million units across, lately. 2.2 mil.
So I reckon Marvel MVC 2 would ship 1 mil. Easy.
Marvel vs. Capcom 9.9 million. Just the original sales. That's on the Wikipedia now.
People go wild for it. Now, Marvel Fever is huge. And if you think about if you think about how MVC2 has the best roster in any fighting game probably ever, outside of maybe Smash Ultimate, I'd argue it's a better roster. I mean, you got all the people from the game that can't be mentioned in there.
Cyclops.
You got my boy, Cyclops. You got Venom in there for you, Phil.
Fuck Cyclops.
You got literally everyone in that. That game is, as a roster, incredible. Plus, it's also one of the best games to watch in a tournament setting. So we've gone off for a while on this. I think it's time to kind of bring it back round. Obviously, we're all in agreement on this, that the players in this space are too big, really, to compete now and to enter into this Battle Royale space. So, Phil, what's your number one?
My number one award is for reading my tweets. And this one goes to Jeff Keighley. He's finally got the note about his trainers. Every Game Awards that I've seen him present, he comes out in the most gearish, over-the-top trainers. And I love my trainers. I love my hype trainers. But it's got to suit the outfit. And he comes out in a stylish suit, and it just doesn't work for me. This time, it's gone understated. He's wearing trainers with a suit, but it matches in colour at least. So thanks, Jeff, for reading my tweets.
Jeff, you always look like a fucking baller to me. And I would have given you that top trip award earlier. I thought you looked fly as fuck, bro. I thought you looked great.
Bro, all I gotta say is, Joff, mate, you brought Elden Ring into this world. So, no matter what you're wearing, I hope it's nothing, because I'll be there.
All I know is that next episode, we're going to have a toss-up between either having a Death Stranding button or an Elden Ring button, because it's getting fucking insane right now. So, my last award that I have to give up, and it's very prestigious, is the I can't understand anything he's fucking saying award. And it goes to Dingba Baka for Deathloop. The French guy. I literally had
with the phone.
With the phone. He's featured in loads of awards. He's taken loads home from this. He was up there for a little while, a couple of times, and I literally had no idea what he said. And it's not his fault. He's French. I just couldn't get any of it. Couldn't get a single fucking thing. Nothing. You would have thought I'd pick up one word. Maybe two. No. I barely picked out what fucking game he was there for. I don't know what you're saying, bro. I don't know. I'm sorry. I really like your game. It's an 8 out of 10 for me. Wouldn't have been included in these awards. It should have been Returnal. But even so, maybe get someone else on to talk for you. Any thoughts on that, boys?
I don't think we can have any thoughts on that. I think we should move on pretty quickly.
Is there anything else about the Game Awards that you guys want to discuss? Any other games or anything else that you thought deserves us talking about before we end the podcast? Spence, anything for you?
The one main thing I want to talk about is kind of the only thing I want to talk about, and it's to do with the actual awards themselves. Because I didn't care much for the actual awards other than the games obviously I care about. and I cannot believe it actually won. But I'm so fucking happy it won. I actually popped off. I literally nuked my home. It Takes Two actually won Game of the Year. I was so happy. That game is sick. I've told both you boys so many times in the past. I've told you listeners so many times. It is a 10 out of 10 experience. That game is amazing. And Davey, I know you don't think it is, but you haven't played it to fruition. You've only played maybe like 2 hours at best. That game is so sick. And I don't think you should play it with me. I think both of you have misses. Go play it with them. And you will have a whale of a time. It is so fun. And it's just a great bonding experience as well. Granted, like Davey, mate, you're married. You probably just want to get away from her.
I think the best thing we could do is me and Phil play this together. Phil, why don't you be my 2 on this? And we do this.
I'm getting quite emotional, boys. It's the first invite I've ever got. Oh my God. It feels special.
I think, because you don't care about platinums, why don't I buy it so I can get the trophies and you can just play with me for free? And we'll play the game through together and we'll give our collective opinion on it in the next few episodes.
Sounds good. We'll give it a rating, you know. Like, we've got to get Spence back after giving Metal Gear Solid a 6 out of 10, so...
That's true. That's so true.
It's time to give you some shit about a game you love.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's only fair, actually, if anything else.
I think you boys will be surprised at how much your friendship grows.
It's not possible, mate. Our friendship's always super strong. He's got no more. Actually, he's got no more shots to give.
I don't want it to.
He's got no more shots to give.
I don't want it to get any stronger. I'm all right with this casual friendship I have with Davey. That's fine. I don't want any more.
I think it's about time we end this podcast. Now, as I said earlier on in the podcast, the best way and the only way I'm going to ask you guys to support us this episode, please, if you listen on Spotify, consider putting a rating on for us. It's super easy. There's 3 dots next to our picture on Spotify. Click that, click the rating option, click 5 stars. You don't have to click 5 stars, but I'd appreciate it. It really will help our podcast get noticed by more people. To be fair, if you've listened this far, listened through all of our bullshit this long, you owe us at least a star, right? I hope you've enjoyed the episode of the podcast. This has been episode 32 of In PS We Trust, a PlayStation podcast. I've been Davey.
I've been Phil.
And I've been Spencer.
Take care, guys.
Peace.
In PS We Trust is hosted by Davey, Phil, and Spencer. You can write into the show via our email, pswetrust@gmail.com. Our Twitter is @InPSWeTrust. To find each of us online, follow our Twitters, @SSJDavey, @PhilipHoy, @SpenPie_. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. See ya.